And so that is us at session number 52. Seems wrong. I'm on the wrong day. There we are, right day. Session number 57. That's even better. It'd be like, I think we've lost some sessions. No, wrong day. So I have a screen for every game.
Cool.
Okay, so session number 57. We are introducing a new player and new storyline. So just so people know where they are, they're up to an adventure called Night Rage. Old module, actually printed in 1990. But again, I don't really follow the module 100%, so who knows what you'll actually see if you look in there at some point later. So this sort of resembles what we played, but doesn't. Right. I've had many people tell me about modules they looked at afterwards going, we just sort of all came from the book.
Yeah, but it turns out it doesn't.
Yeah. So, to give a recap of what's happening so our new player will know, and then he can introduce himself and see how he fits in.
Cool.
So, you you're working for someone by the name of Redrian, based out of Darrakan City. He has hired you all to be investigators, finding various problems going around the world. So he wants the party to look into cults, into religions, into changes in government policy, and major religious changes in how everyone's dealing with each other. Because, simply put, the world's gone crazy. And you guys are at the heart of trying to find out why. So all these new cults are popping up all over the place. Some of these cults are old cults re-emerging. Some of these cults are new cults starting up for the first time. So you're not exactly sure what's happening with all that. Then on top of that, you're also doing certain quests that help out different organizations. So at the moment, you are in the middle of a quest to help the Wizards of Galantry, who lost a couple of goblin princes and a senator in what's known as the Broken Lands, where you will find most of the worst of the humanoids' cultures in the setting. So the ones that aren't deemed polite in society get shuffled off into the wilderness, and the Broken Lands is one of the worst wildernesses out there. So, as a group, you went off and started to investigate this, and then the gods disappeared. So a lot of your magic just sort of disappeared overnight when you woke up. Artifacts stopped working, things didn't work so well, and then you found a monastery, met some dark elves when you've never actually seen dark-skinned elves before, and went on a elemental journey. And found yourself in a world with a sun that doesn't move. Always at high noon.
Have we figured out that it's the Hollow World?
You've managed to figure out it's a Hollow World after talking to people there. And
Okay.
Dimitri already knew it was a Hollow World, so
Right.
he told people it was a Hollow World.
Okay.
They're going, damn, I'm here again.
So when we first went down there,
We
Dimitri
chose
was
to
fighting
believe
hard
him.
to say, no, we don't want to go, we don't want to go.
Okay.
So you had one character going, this is horrible, we didn't really want to be here. And apparently he managed to find some of his destiny down here, which he didn't expect.
Well, which I avoided previously.
So you investigated an old Aztec culture in this world. They're called Azcans, but they're the Aztecs of South America. And while investigating that culture, you managed to find that they were sacrificing people to power some device up around the sun, and you managed to get yourself up there and destroy it, with a little damage to the culture along the way, such as killing the king and high priest, destroying their temple, and slaughtering a couple of them along the way.
All acceptable losses.
No one ever really noticed, though.
And you also found out that the summoning of creatures into this world is rather horrific.
Yes.
So they went, that was a bad idea anyway.
Yeah.
And you managed to then figure out that Dimitri was needed somewhere. And you headed off to an area called the Millennium Empire, who had statues of Dimitri all over the place. But they call him Halav there. And it turns out Dimitri's the spitting image of their god. Except he didn't have red hair at the time. So,
Technically also Dimitri's god.
It is technically
Just not
Dimitri's
necessarily the
field
same
as
time
well.
at the same time.
And so, doing some quests for the people, you've managed to restore the rightful emperor. Dimitri now does look like a spitting image of his god with the red flowing hair as well, which hasn't gone away.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now known as the hero of that country. And now you're heading off to one of the nearby nations known as Nithia,
Right.
with the help of Griffin Riders.
So, and that's an Egypt analog,
It's an Egypt analog.
but it's in Hollow World still.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist on the
But-
outside world. And
It's actually getting back to the original reason why we came down here.
the amusing
Chasing
thing
the
is,
goblins.
not one of you actually know where they were found in the upper world. You have no knowledge of these guys whatsoever.
Right.
Which nearly every other people you've seen, you have some sort of inkling of. These guys are a complete blank.
Okay.
Even their name doesn't register to you. Which is actually quite amusing considering Dimitri's actually a descendant of them as well.
What? Descended from two cultures?
The Millennians are a descendant of the Traldar, which are a descendant of the Nithians.
Okay.
The Nithians are so old that most people have forgotten them, but a lot of people have descended from them.
Yeah.
Right.
They were the second of the fire humans. The first fire humans all got wiped out. The second fire humans all got wiped out. Similar reasons.
Are there... is there a cross-pollination between the outside world and the hollow world?
There is, because when a culture dies out on the outside world, they're actually brought into the hollow world.
When you say a culture dies out on the outside world, how does it get transferred?
Rather badly.
The whole purpose of the Hollow World, and as player, or the characters might know little bits of this potentially, depending on the time, but as players, it's the sense that the Hollow World was created by the Immortals effectively as their bookshelf where they keep all their old things.
Okay, gotcha.
I.e., old people.
Yeah.
And they keep them in their prime so therefore they don't lose them.
That's why the people can't leave their areas. Their magic is supporting them. They can't learn things outside of their culture or use weapons beside it, and it's why their weapons bypass your armor.
Right.
While you're in their lands.
And it's also why this events that these goblins have instigated, well, they're pawns as well, realistically, but they're effectively trying to change the Hollow World, which is, as I say, if the Hollow World changes, it means the world's breaking.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you've actually had to, where you ended last session, you were using Griffin Riders to fly towards one of the floating continents because entire land masses float above you between you and the sun. And
That's right. Yes, we're going to hit you hard on the continent rather than making the griffins fly all the way, won't we?
Yep, because it's a lot easier to just float on something than it is to fly or ride.
Yep.
It's a shortcut, by the way, but it does take half a day to fly up to it.
So this is where you come in, Stephen, because you'll be flying us to the island.
Presumably.
We'll see. I'm a Griffin Rider from Karameikos, not from
Oh.
He's from a different
Hollow
country.
World.
Right. So so you're from the outside world.
And they spent a couple of days sitting on this rock waiting for it to get closer, so they have less time to travel.
And then what? We would parachute down?
I know that you could pretty much get flown down and dropped off.
Okay.
Like the Griffin Riders are riding with us on the island.
It's
Right.
just so the griffins aren't flying the entire
They're not
way.
abandoning you up on like this high
Yeah,
edge
that's what I was
just
worried.
to
Or they
float
could get
around.
close and just go push and say, I hope for the best.
It's all right. Dimitri will be fine.
I think I've got feather fall or fly.
I think Dimitri has one or the other or both.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how many of the others will survive.
Well, I'll check what the duration is. Because you'd want to...
But as I say, it shouldn't be needed because the Griffin Riders are planning on flying us down.
Okay, then I'll just forget.
You're just about a mile above the ground at the moment. So it's a long way to fall.
Yeah.
Concentration
But
up
it's
to
only-
10 minutes.
It's only the last 10 feet that matter. And 10 feet falls only did 6, so that's okay.
The target gains a flying
That is
speed
very
of
true,
60
especially
feet.
when you take into account feather fall.
Exactly.
10.
You just wait till you're close to the ground before casting it, though.
But he needs to time it right.
Right.
Time it too badly. It's
Isn't
like
feather
casting.
fall auto activation?
No, it
It's
is
a reaction.
a reaction.
So it's, yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
true,
well,
yeah.
well, admittedly, sometimes you might have an item like a Ring of Featherfall will tend to activate automatically. So if you cast in the spell, you've got to cast it.
Okay, so you guys are currently you're spending a week up there, and after a week up there, you will be meeting. You'll have another rider approach from the Millennium side, who's flying the colours of the Order of the Griffin, which Dimitri recognises.
Mm-hmm. So you mean he's flying? We've been on the island, and he's flying to the island to meet, potentially if we're going west, or to directly meet us. Like he didn't come from the Empire directly where we just left. Is that what you're saying?
Hard to tell.
He's arriving on the island after we've already been there.
He's arriving after you've been there for about a week.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. I think intentionally we last session you actually left the island, but I've just moved you back to the island for a week to make
All
things
good.
meet up. Okay, so your character has you've been in this world for a while. I'll give you a description of it.
You mean
So,
the Hollow World?
The Hollow World
Right,
itself.
right.
It actually has a readout for players who haven't been here before.
Oh, great.
So your whole idea of the world has changed, expanded. The solid ground you've walked on all your life has turned out to be no more solid than a nutshell. The world is hollow. The quest started routinely enough. The principalities of Galantry hired you to find a caravan that has gone missing. You are also looking for the caravan's leader, 2 goblin princes, Udan and Kano, and a Galantrian minister, a human named Irila Kaze. The mission grew strange a few days along the trail when one morning you discovered that people you were traveling with, their divine spells wouldn't work, druids couldn't get spells, bards and warlocks couldn't use magic. So it really got quite strange for those people, and no one had an idea why. And they managed to make it to a monastery in the Broken Lands, having had maybe some other people had beaten them here. So you seem to be the second group showing up. There was a mess of entropy magic in the area. And it looks as if part of the building itself had been damaged by whatever had been going on. And you saw the dead remains of some 20-foot long worm creature. And while you were down there, you were met by some strange elves. And they called themselves the Scandinavien.
Okay.
Never actually met them before. They were dark-skinned and seemed to have been waiting for you. And they, you and your friends decided that, well, this might lead you to where you're supposed to go. So they give you something, some strange sort of amulet, which means that you can now understand what they're saying when they're talking. But they can also now understand what you're saying when you're talking. And then they summon some sort of earth elemental. And a lot of you emerge in a huge spherical cavern, thousands of miles across, with a brilliant red sun floating in the center. As you look out to the horizon,
happened just prior to that, sorry?
You were engulfed by an earth elemental,
Oh, okay.
as were your friends. Then, as you're standing looking up, you see that the sides of the world bend upwards, up into the horizon. And you see huge islands floating in the sky. and distant oceans and continents. As your group were trying to ask the elves about this place, they sort of were a bit surprised that you were asking about it. And then basically they started to attack because you obviously weren't the people they were waiting for. When the dust settled, you were the only one of your friends to survive.
Ah.
And all the elves had been taken out. And I might give the others introduce themselves to you, so I'll just figure out if there's something I need to deal with.
Cool. So,
Hello.
introductions.
Okay. So you're coming up. You're still bearing the colours of a Corendian knight from Karameikos. Dimitri will introduce himself as Dimitri Dimitrios, Lieutenant. Where am I? Lieutenant of the Castilian Guard, Battalion, 4th Division, Karameikos Army.
Oh there, I think we know each other from some time ago.
Well, I wasn't entirely certain you'd remember me. It's a block surprise.
It is I, Sir Clovius.
Yes, greetings.
It is lucky I've found you here. I've been wandering this realm for some time now, since I arrived here. And he tells the story of how he arrived here, which is the same as you guys.
Yep. So Redrian has sent additional personnel down here for this job. Okay, it's good. So, yes. Did he mention that he'd sent myself and my friends down here before you?
No, he didn't say that I was additional. I thought we were the ones doing the job.
Well, they got hired by the Wizards of the Galantry, like you guys did. They hired quite a few groups, if you remember.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, so they did, yes.
So,
but do we know that he was already part of Redrian's?
yes, you would recognise him as already one of Redrian's group because you got to meet a lot of them.
Yeah, cool. So in fact, we probably had run into each other multiple times, not just in Karameikos, but also with Redrian, and then again in Glantry when they were announcing the opportunity to get down here. So
have we managed to introduce everyone?
Just Dimitri.
Just Dimitri?
No, Jeremy just keeps talking like he does all the time.
And you'll notice he hasn't actually said anything important either.
So then I think we'll go over to David and have him introduce himself if he's got time.
Yeah, actually, I have a few moments. As your eyes drift away from Dimitri, the arrogant
So the
shitbag.
wonder and the glory that is Dimitri.
The arrogant shitbag. Your eyes rest upon for an Ethangarian, a very tall Ethangarian who is obviously very, very fond of the melee, and covered in scars, really only clothed in what could best be described as budgie smugglers of the leather variety. Hell of a chafage issue, but you can tell that he has the firm buttocks of somebody who has spent most, if not all, of his life on a horse. He looks you up and down. Has a look to
Those
Dimitri,
firm buttocks. I know them anywhere.
has a look to Willie, then back to you, and just says, "You're too clean, and will not last," and turns away.
And then we move over to Willie, who's just been glanced at by a barbarian.
That's fine. So yes, I'm Willie Toscobble, a halfling bard. Welcome to the party.
Well met.
you
Hopefully
also
we
have-
will survive this strange land.
We also have two other characters with them. Another halfling who is reading a holy book at the moment, mainly because he's trying not to screw up again.
Right.
He did previously have a habit of trying to help people with medicine by cutting things off.
Oh.
So
Amputation.
amputation was his way of solving problems. And you also see a albino elf with blonde hair, well, the platinum blonde sort of style hair, also sort of looking you up and down. She doesn't say anything and just goes back to looking over the halfling shoulder at the book.
Okay.
Isn't she a dwarf now?
No, that was Raya. So the amusing thing was, Little Miss had turned in, which is the elf who's 7 feet tall. Quite amusing. Has turned into the nightmare of Raya. And then Raya was the character who left.
Okay, who then left shortly afterwards.
So have you described
Totally unrelated.
Have you described how you look to these people?
Yeah, he's sort of like... I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the Order of the Griffin looks like, but I'm guessing sort of like a Romanesque kind of knight on a griffin. He's got like a little pennant hanging off the tip of his lance, which he carries sort of...
I did grab a sort of picture.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So it does sort of look quite impressive.
Yeah, he's armoured and he's got a bunch of different weapons available. And,
That is pretty good.
I went for Griffin Rider and just found the one that wasn't female.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
So I had about 10 choices of female, 1 choice of male.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so he's a reasonable fighter, and he's quite skilled actually as well.
So he's an actual fighter class?
Yeah, he's a fighter.
Nice.
He's the Griffin Rider fighter archetype.
Right.
So he gets bonuses riding his Griffin.
Is that his
And the
gear?
good thing for
No.
the good thing for him,
It's in Midgard's.
Right.
Midgard's.
Cool.
the Hollow World effect will have much less impact
That
on
was
him.
interesting stuff.
Mm.
He was going to play an Eldritch Knight and be an abjuration specialist.
Yeah. But that was a bit too close to Dimitri.
Oh, he just recommended Griffin Knight, and I was like, oh yeah, sounds cool.
It's not exactly as if Dimitri uses his spells.
Well, he does use it.
that Jeremy and I have had that ongoing joke because in the 80 odd sessions he's played, he's probably used spells maybe about 10 times offensively.
Right, okay.
Oh no, actually, like recently he's been using them quite often. It's the fact that like for the first 3 levels he did not cast a spell.
Yeah.
Is he a wizard?
Yes.
Yes.
There you
That's an
go.
interesting
level of
Dimitri.
thief.
I'm a nerd.
Interesting way of playing.
Well, he does come from
Well-
from a people who dislike spellcasters.
Oh,
I
Like I said, it's one of the issues is that
And
Karameikos.
also, he's just an asshole.
That has nothing to do with that aspect, though. That just comes naturally.
So, bit of background for your character. After getting away from the elves, you got contacted by a god.
Oh.
So, touched by a god does happen here. And this god directed you to where you could be actually useful on this world. And apparently he said where Dimitri was so you could catch up with him. You knew Dimitri was here.
Because everybody wants to get to the Dimitri.
And then as you're getting closer, you're seeing all these statues of Dimitri all over the place. You end up at this nation's capital that seems to be worshipping him. And you find out that he just left a few days beforehand. But they were preparing something for them, so if you can take it to them, they'll be most appreciative. And so you have to wait around with, luxury bars, people giving you personal massages.
Oh, not too bad in
All the
the
food
world.
you could eat. And being honoured as a powerful warrior.
And the joy of delivering a new magical item to Dimitri. Is that the deal?
Well,
And-
you were recognised. You just simply called on the name. You said, I'm a friend of Dimitri, and I'm quite happy to help you anyway.
And so they give you this wand to give to a terrifying halfling by the name of Willie.
Ah, there you go.
Okay.
And a glaive to give to a less terrifying but equally as horrifying barbarian by the name of Clement.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you the names of the items. So you have the joy of telling them exactly what they're called. As in...
Oh, if that's the case and that glaive was visible, instead of talking to you, Flyman will immediately grab it and walk away.
That's the glaive of... Okay, then.
That fits the description.
And, to be honest, it's probably a good thing he walked away before you told him the name.
And then you give Willie his wand.
Which is the wand of...
Wand of Wonder.
The Wand of Wonder.
It's a wand of the Wonder Mage, or
it's
I don't
the
know.
Troldaran. It should be the Troldaran wand.
Troldaran wand. Thank you.
So it might end up being the Troldaran wand of Halav, depending on how the wording fixes itself up. Because Halav has had a hand in helping it. Or at least that's what the wizard said who enchanted it for you.
Well, I mean, obviously it was a powerful or potentially powerful item, and it had been carried by the Hallow's return for however long.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it was just in his pockets the entire time, and all those times you could have used it.
But it hadn't been attuned because he has a surfeit of things to attune.
He'd never pulled it out to use it because, it was only a wand.
Right.
Also, it's a wand that's specifically unpredictable, which is not something Dimitri's keen for. It's what he hates about the Hollow World. Magic's unpredictable.
Mm. But at least the Wand of Wonder is a guaranteed spell. It doesn't just fizzle.
But it's still unpredictable in its effects, which...
Okay.
So, Dimitri's found that, yes, spells fizzle sometimes, but often that's much better than the random effects that you'll get from the spells.
Okay.
Like when his fireball goes 4 times the size, or when he tries to cast fireball and gets levitate instead.
So you'll find that from Clovis's perspective, this world is strange because no matter how long you've been here, it's still noon.
It's still noon,
Yes,
right?
that the sun has not moved at all.
Well, it's in the center of the hollowness.
Which is why it's so weird.
That does sound weird.
And unless you had some way of telling time besides the sun movement, you haven't been able to tell time since you got here.
So how long have you effectively been down here for?
Have your character give me an insight roll.
Sure can.
Because, the point is, if he left at the same time as we did, obviously it didn't quite go the same way that we did to get down here, but...
That's, is that intelligence? Wisdom. This one? 4.
You got a 4. So from his perspective, sometime today and forever.
Yes.
Well, yes, you see, it could have been, about a year, or...
You've probably slept about 40 times since you've come here today.
And you've certainly enjoyed the massages in the meantime.
Yeah.
It is weird being in a world that's always in light. Because you come from an area where darkness hides the horrors.
Oh.
Karameikos has its werewolves and vampires and other things that bump in the night.
Yes. If you think of Karameikos as effectively... particularly from Dimitri's perspective, because Karameikos has 2 main races of people that are there. You've got the Carendians, or the Phaeatans, basically the same, and you've got the Troldaran. And the Troldaran you can think of as effectively being the Transylvanian peasants.
By the way, I think I know why Victor wanted to show up tonight.
Yeah.
He said the V word.
his character is obsessed with vampires.
Oh, okay.
I have totally not been helping that whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, neither has the party at all.
Okay, so yes, you are currently on a rock floating above the ground, which is also not, a little freaky for you. And you see that around you are bunches of other Griffin riders with armor and styling you've never seen before. You didn't actually see them in town because most of them had left when you had arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, because the Emperor dead and they abandoned. Yes.
And they sent a bunch of them with you. It also helps that the front cover of that book also shows Griffin Rider on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a camera just there, so it also helps pointing it out to people. So yes. Anything you want to fill each other in on?
Well, Dimitri will ask it. So, we've dealt with the goblin. I can't remember which one it was now, but because there was, hang on,
Goblin A, and now it's time for Goblin B.
Because one of them was Carno, or something like that.
You believe you killed Kano.
It was Carno that we've rescued,
Or you believe it was. It's
eliminated.
a bit hard to tell because he was a bloated giant creature at the time.
Yes. But they...
So you won't actually be rescuing him in the pure sense of the matter?
We're killing the ones we're supposed to rescue.
Well,
we saved him from a fate worse than death, sort of.
Well, you do know he got banished to Thanos' realm.
I think sort of. But yeah, so basically we'll talk about the fact that yes, we managed to track down one of the goblins, and we, from the information that Asterius provided when we arrived, we believe the at least the next point, which is presumably one of the other goblins, or maybe the Galantian diplomat, is over in this realm that... did the maniacs tell us what the name of that area was that we're going to?
You're heading to now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're heading to a place called Nithya.
It was Nithya, yeah. Well, it was more the idea we had known that, yeah. Yeah, so apparently one of the goblins has ended up in Nithya, which is where we're headed to now, to try and go through. You may have noticed while you were down here that the sun is burning a little bit brighter than it had been,
so
as in we managed to eliminate the mirror that was soaking up the sun and causing problems. So, and yeah, so Dimitri, basically, he'll waffle on at you, using big words.
We just tune it out, it's fine.
That's nice. And with the... Well, he'll speak as if he expects you to understand, although privately he knows you don't, because no one does. He knows no one's clever enough as him to actually understand what he talks about.
The only thing no one understands is just how much Plowman wants to kill him.
No, I think it's obvious in just the looks you give him.
I think people have got at least a general idea, maybe not the absolute value.
Okay, so you see yourself passing over what the locals call the Sea of Year below you, so YR, very imaginative.
Yep.
And they say that they need to drop you at the other end of the sea so they can head back safely. Because any further along this way and they won't be able to safely get you to the ground.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so when Dimitri does finally finish waffling, he'll be interested to know whether or not So Clovis has actually managed to achieve anything towards the goal that he came down for, or he's just been enjoying the time in Millennia with the massage girls.
Have I achieved anything?
You found Dimitri.
I found you, and I have found some culprits for killing one of them. One of the goblins we're supposed to be rescuing.
Oh, he's also killed a bunch of elves, so
Any particular reason you've killed some elves?
they were killing him and his friends at the time.
Okay.
They sat in elves. They deserved it.
So that they are the elves who believe in blood sacrifice.
Good move.
They're
Otherwise,
the very unfriendly kind.
well, they're otherwise known as the blood elves, so that they basically get bonuses for sacrificing people. Okay, so
They sound like cool people.
they are, because they generally stay out of sunlight. So they help you, those of you who don't have griffins, mount up on the griffins they have here. So you're not just falling off a rock.
I was thinking how it would work. Like, if you were at terminal velocity, how long would it take to reverse? Or do you just start flying at 60? Do you immediately...
Well, it's sort of like engine braking, but worse.
Right, okay.
So if you do feather fall, you instantly slow down to that speed.
Yeah.
But because of the magic, you don't go splat.
Yes.
Which would be funny if it's like turn on feather fall and squish, and then you just go splatter everywhere because you've just stopped terminal velocity.
Right.
So
That's a funny idea.
Magic does have its own bonuses.
And then you're just like your gored corpse would just like be splattered everywhere, but it would be slowly falling.
Well, the biggest piece with the ring or whatever the magic attuned to it would be the one that falls slowly, and the rest of it just plummets again.
Oh yeah.
Fair point.
See, it's the equivalent of the old statement of Superman flying up to catch Lois Lane falling off the roof of the Daily Planet building, sticks his arms out and cuts her into 3 neat pieces. Because technically at the speed he's going up and the speed she's going down,
Yeah.
it's not like it's in the movies and you just catch the person. He has to then reverse and do so, but he keeps going up. So it's like, yeah. Magic.
Yes.
Okay, so you get on the griffins and spend about 2 hours flying down, which is basically you plummet for a while and then the wings come out and they slow down. No need to even flap at all, it's just free falling for as long as many of you can scream.
Cool.
Hey, for most people, free falling is a terrifying experience. And some people are just screaming because they are having fun. Whereas I'm sure Playman is just doing, he's enjoying the speed.
But it's not a horse.
Just a griffin.
But
no, Plyman's fucking hating this.
Okay.
This not on the ground bullshit has to stop.
Okay, well, your person who's flying for you says he can let you off here if you like. As you're halfway down.
If I go, you go, you fucking pansy. Sorry. Whoops.
He just laughs at you and says, "Don't worry, I wasn't serious."
I was.
And after over an hour, you find yourself slowing as the birds are now circling to find the landing spot. As you see the beach coming up quickly.
Hey, can somebody roll a d20 for me?
6.
Almond vomits.
Plumman is handed a stiff drink.
Plyman's okay with that.
And a paper bag.
What this be?
It's a bit late for the sick bag.
Yeah, once it's done, it's done.
Okay. But the griffin does look annoyed.
Sounds like the Griffin's problem.
As do everyone flying behind you.
Sounds like their problem. No vomit got on Plyman.
Okay, so you find yourself coming into a landing on this nice picturesque beach. Brilliant white gold sand, crystal blue waters, not a halfling in sight except in the air. We got 2 halflings in the air. So all a good day for most on board the Griffins, because they're boogeyman of this world are halflings. Well, supposedly they are. They're horrified,
Okay.
and they let everyone else know about it. One of their greetings is "Eat you later." So, you find yourself on this nice squeaky beach. Every time you put your foot down, you hear it squeak and make lots of noise. But it all looks pretty.
Yeah.
But a noisy beach.
Hmm.
And after you've all been put down and given, make sure you each have a water skin with some fresh water in it and a block of cheese.
Okay.
So they give the halflings to.
As we're coming down, Dimitri will be aiming to surveil the surrounding terrain as much as possible for while we're up high to get an idea of where we're going to go, what kind of terrain we're looking at, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'll give you a quick blow-up view of it. Where is my... There, that will do. Okay, can you see my little mouse moving, Jeremy?
Yep.
So where that little finger is pointing is roughly where you end up. So
Okay,
not
yep.
all the way to Nithia, but a big chunk of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that there is mountain ranges to the south that go along this way. And you're actually told that if you go via the edge of the mountain range, you'll actually be safer than crossing the plains.
Okay. Do they say why the plains are dangerous?
They say that whatever lives there kills anything bigger than a halfling.
Right.
Hey, Martin,
Yeah.
did I have to ditch my horses, or do I still have them?
You left them behind.
Yeah, I thought
We're
so.
always leaving them behind.
What were you on horses for?
Shut up.
He's got. He's chosen a type of combat that involves a lot of horses, but he never seems to get to ride a horse.
Well, he did a few sessions ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, twice. So twice. I've had 2 different horses. So my, as a totem warrior barbarian horse type, my mount gains half of my hit die in barbarian levels.
Sounds pretty cool.
They're powerful horses.
Which could make a powerful griffin too. Yes, no comment from that side. It's just no.
Well, how would you get a griffin mount? Not having mine.
Okay, so he's actually got to befriend it first.
Climate will take that challenge.
Ask these griffin riders for an egg.
Well, except of course for the fact that, as far as Plumber's concerned, it's not a horse.
He only likes horses. He doesn't
No.
like Pegasi
It's inferior.
or even unicorns. But he doesn't like things that talk back to him either. As you learn,
Yeah,
what
he's
he's
got a
spoke to
little
an owl.
time. He's got a little bit more time for unicorns than anything else. But if it's not a horse, why would you?
Okay, so how about Hippogriff? They're part horse.
Yeah.
What about a Pegasus?
He didn't like Pegasus.
Oh, what?
I think you didn't like.
Okay, so yes, you find yourself on the beach watching all but one of the griffins flying away.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Dimitri will wish them well, and yeah, long live the Emperor, all that kind of stuff.
And is there a code we can use to summon them?
The other griffins?
Yeah, well, I guess the Griffin Riders. And the
Well,
Griffin-
they're heading home.
Right, okay.
Apparently, once you leave, because you've now technically left their lands, they want to go back to their lands where their brain tells them they have to be.
All right.
Yeah, but it is the sort of thing that once we've dealt with Nithia, potentially we do want to go back to Millennium to then get a ride to the next location we need to go to, which is back across the island chain. Unless, of course, we go with the pirates again.
Is there a
Which
third
I'm sure we'll be
location?
happy with.
There's another location besides this one.
Right. Okay.
The Dimitri stop was not one of the locations you'd asked to do by the god.
Right. So
But
it's now Dimitri demanding to do all these things in Hollow World when he never wanted to come here. Is that right?
Dimitri is keen to get what needs to be done over and done with, so therefore
It never has to
get
come
out of
back.
here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he wants to not have to come back ever.
But it is the sort of thing that he recognises, hey, there's not much point getting out of here now if the world then gets destroyed. Because it hasn't happened, because of stuff that's happened down here.
Did you know that we're level 8?
Yeah. My character's
Cool.
level 8.
All right. No
Yeah,
worries.
he'll get his magical items as we go.
Okay.
Basically, I wait until they play and see how they play, and then end up with items based
Well,
on that.
I can just grab Dimitri and just turn him upside down
And see what falls out.
yeah. Just say, well, he's obviously not attuned to it. All right.
Do you reckon I should tell David this is the first thing in the description block of Griffins?
They eat horses.
Yeah, it says horse eaters, and then it has like several paragraphs.
Griffins are horse eaters.
Good luck eating my horses. I promise you, it ain't gonna go well.
Well, good luck eating his horses.
Because unlike, sorry, go.
I was going to say, you've got good luck eating Plumman's horses, because you can never find them, because they're never where he is.
Yeah, I fucking do that. I mean,
Well, it's the main reason the Millenniums breed lots of horses, because their flying corps actually eat their flocks.
Okay. They're the food source.
Right. So what are we doing on this beach? We're looking for something?
Currently, you were told that it was the safest way was to follow the mountains around to Nithia.
Yep.
Can we see the mountains?
You can see the mountains to the south, but the riders do not want to go anywhere near the mountains themselves because bad things happen in this part of the world.
So this is as far as our friends will come with us.
That they've already
Yeah,
gone
that's
beyond
right.
the borders of their lands.
We're walking from here, or, well, I say, technically, you can still ride.
Yeah, you could be a scout.
Okay.
But I would also suggest that, well, since it's obviously lunchtime with the noon sun up there.
It's obviously
Plumman,
That's always an excuse.
Plumman might want to eat something, having divested his stomach of everything so far. So we'll
roast
probably.
griffin sounds good.
The griffin just looks at you. It seems to understand you.
I didn't stutter.
But yeah, so I'd suggest that we take a moment to gather ourselves, get ourselves set, and on the way down, it certainly looks like we want to be heading off to the down to the southwest there, following that mountain range. Do we have an idea of what sort of distance we're actually travelling?
You think you're going to be
Several hundred kilometres, miles?
traveling probably about maybe 1,500 miles.
Yeah, so
It's a long journey.
we can afford to delay an hour or so now to have some food.
Yeah, at least it's not as bad as when you first came to the Hollow World and some of you were assigned watch till sunset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pick the newbie. But yeah, so basically, once everyone's ready and prepared and fed, I guess we'll start walking. Except for Sir Clovis and Dimitri will summon his phantom horse for at least the first bit.
So yes, you have Dimitri riding next to the barbarian with the "Where's my horse?" sort of look on his face, followed by the "I still hate Dimitri" look.
My character will
It's funny, they look
fly
like
up.
the same look.
My character will fly up and maybe do some like scouting ahead of where we're going, keeping an eye out for horses. Which the griffin instinctually can do. Is this an area where there might be like wild horses or?
Well, there's something wild here that scares the griffin riders.
Okay. Oh, so maybe I should be careful.
That's completely up to you.
Ah, nothing wrong with a little bit of scouting. I'll do some scouting, like Martin suggested.
Thank you.
Give me a perception roll as you go offline.
Alright, my griffin will make a perception roll, but for horses. And it's got advantage, so I'll take the 7 there. Got 8. And my character has perception, so that would be +4. And he got a 9.
Okay.
Hot rolling.
Having a look around, you can see what appears to be a flock of birds off in the distance. Can't really tell what sort of birds they are. It's just some sort of flock. You see no horses below, but you do see a shepherd and some sheep nearby. Probably about 2 or 3 miles south of where the others are.
Oh, okay. A shepherd. What do you guys reckon? Should I talk to him?
You're gonna go back and ask them, or you're just gonna fly over?
Because
you're currently up in the air.
You're off by yourself at the moment.
Yeah, I'll fly over and talk to this shepherd.
Okay. So you see the griffin rider just fly off to the south.
So he's right, but the griffin.
Do we see him apparently land in that position, or did he duck down behind hills or something?
Well, give me a perception roll as everyone is see how much you're actually carrying.
Was I very close to them just then?
You would have had to have been flying up about maybe 300-400 feet at least.
But I was quite close to them.
You could have been within maybe 500 feet of them.
I would have gone back and talked to them first.
16.
Whatever.
Perception.
What's done is done.
16.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Right?
They do see which way you have.
Down,
Okay.
But you're not going to go and land, pick up a sheep, and then eat it.
No, that wasn't exactly what I was thinking.
No worries. Okay.
Why? Why weren't you thinking that?
It's just what I was thinking.
My mount's got to eat.
I mean, I'm a halfling.
It's carnivorous.
That's right. You're a halfling. Of course he's not thinking of going down, picking up a sheep and eating it, when there's a perfectly good shepherd there.
Right. 2 legs good, 4 legs bad. Right.
And okay, so
Dimitri's not paying any attention whatsoever.
not unusual.
You rolled a 1.
Then somebody roll the 20.
A 10.
And extra mean.
So yeah, Playman actually pays attention to where the griffin's going.
Yeah.
He probably wants to watch where the horse killer goes.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I was thinking.
Okay. So yes, as you're coming in to see the shepherd, give me another perception roll.
3 plus 1, 19, 18.
18. Okay, so as you're coming in, you notice that he seems to be whistling and gesturing a lot, and you realize he's got some birds that are rounding up the sheep for him.
Oh, strange.
As you get closer, the birds are actually winged snakes.
What?
Winged stakes.
Snakes.
What?
Snakes.
What? What
Okay.
in the Northern Territory is going on here?
Don't worry, we have drop bears coming later.
I'll turn around and head over to the party, I think,
Okay.
and report back. Got winged snakes rounding up. Were they sheep?
Yep.
Lot of sheep?
They probably had about maybe 30 or 40 sheep.
Yeah, I'll tell them about this strange thing that I saw. Did it look like a human, by the way?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Now, in the Axcan land, the only winged snake was actually the smoky form going up to the sun, wasn't it?
That is correct.
There weren't actually any physical winged snakes that we saw, were there?
Not that you saw.
No.
So you come and land with the others, and what do you tell them?
There's a strange man over there. He appears to be a shepherd. He's got winged snakes herding his sheep for him. Over there, a couple miles that way.
That's very weird. But I
How
would
is he
expect
dressed?
nothing less from Oliver.
I mean, we
How
could
was
go
he
round
dressed?
him.
What was his description? What do you look like? The Azcans, they shouldn't be here.
Is there, like,
Yes,
what... Did I see much of him, or was I too far away?
You sort of, well, you're coming in, you saw the flaying things, you concentrating on that, and then buggered off.
Yeah, I was like, no.
Okay, and you notice that your griffin's staring up at the sky still.
I try to follow its eyes.
Give me a perception roll.
What's a perception rolls? That's a 17.
Those birds that you looked at earlier are a lot closer.
Oh, cool.
When you
Some
say
geese or something?
birds, you mean the serpents.
Don't seem to be coming from where the shepherd was. They seem to be coming from when you've been flying up above everything.
Oh, they're just birds. My character just thinks nothing of it.
You may want to get better in perception. I don't know.
Yep. Okay. So,
I'm proficient,
Right.
apparently.
He's
Okay,
just not
I have
blind, obviously.
you're qualified. Sort of. You haven't died yet. That's a good qualification.
It's a perfectly valid perception. Might not be right, but it was perceived.
Okay. So, what do you wish to do?
Kill a griffin rider. I mean, keep going. And go and see the farmer.
Okay.
Well, I mean, okay, we're effectively on our way. Like when you were scouting ahead, was the farmer, the peasant going to be in our path ahead of us?
It is as you're heading south.
Yeah.
We've got a long way to go, so a little detour like this.
Oh no, exactly. I'm not unhappy to go through there, but yeah.
Yeah, let's go see him.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, so Dimitri is interested in your description of what he looked like, what he was wearing, all that sort of stuff, which obviously you feel his typical perception of Thayatan personality by not being able to provide any worthwhile description about what you saw when they go through as a scout.
Yes, there's one person who wasn't armed. That's about it.
Well, he was gesturing, so he does have arms.
Oh boy.
We shall have bad jokes like that throughout the whole thing. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Stephen, that you have to deal with Mark's shit jokes.
He hasn't even said one yet.
Welcome to the party.
okay, so as you're heading south, you start to have the light flicker above you. As you look up, you can see that there's a flock of birds between you and the sun.
And they
But
coming
it's
to
a
us.
big enough flock to block the sun, huh?
To put moments of shadow above you.
Well, we'll take a look up, and like I say, when the shadow falls, curiosity, but looking up, they're just birds as far as we're concerned.
Well, we'll see how good you're at noticing. Give me a nature roll.
17, 21 untrained
Okay.
or non-proficient.
13.
Do you have any nature?
Roll a dice for me.
13.
I've got my wand out.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting until they close to 120 feet, and then I'll have to make a decision.
Okay. So do you want to roll for Playman?
A 9.
So Playman got a 9. So most of you go, it's just birds.
But he would have a good bonus for nature.
Possibly.
No.
Oh, no, he doesn't. Okay.
He's not that sort of bugger.
He's not that kind of bummer.
Okay, so Dimitri looking up, you do notice that these birds have leathery wings and long elongated bodies, and they look like pictures you saw in the Azcan Empire.
Yeah, okay. And obviously, so Clovis has been talking about the idea of winged serpents.
Mm-hmm.
They're not birds.
Are they evil?
And how many are there?
You can
Obviously uncountable
you
numbers,
count
or are they that
over 100.
Yeah.
You remember that one time you cast big fireball? Maybe do again.
And as you're noticing that, they seem to be spiraling down towards you.
Ah,
Shit.
And
And-
there's 100 of them.
There's over 100, and they're still coming.
Right.
So did Clovis stay with us, or did he go scouting again?
Not yet. He's still with you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing that's not. You didn't say that the peasant had that many of them.
And so, as you're looking up, you can feel rain falling from them.
rain. Oh.
Well,
That's
it's
not
the
rain.
first time rain's fallen here.
Plummet raises his
Do you reckon it actually
shield.
means rain?
I don't know what they.
So approximately how far away are they at the moment?
Currently, they're about 300-400 feet up and slowly coming down. And so I will get everyone but Playman to give me a fortitude saving throw.
Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw.
17?
17. That's just my cat wanting attention.
10.
10. You happy with that?
Well, I don't know. I don't get a
The
lot of
idea is
bonuses.
that we do have rerolls available to us.
You do have some.
But, I mean, 10 is my average.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you're
10
probably
is
not going to get
extra
much better.
medium.
So would someone like to roll for Playman? Oh, that's
you
right.
mean
That's right. He
Plummet
wasn't
is under
rolling.
the shield?
He wasn't rolling.
He wasn't rolling.
Yeah.
You were saying Plummet doesn't need to. So.
All right.
That's good.
I rolled a reroll and I got 18.
There you go.
So how did Jeremy go?
16.
16. Okay.
Unless it's an acid type effect, in which case it's slightly worse.
Oh, you know it's an acid effect.
Well, only because I brought it up.
Okay, so as you raise up your as you see Playman raise up his shield, each of you start getting hit by liquid that seems to numb the skin where it hits,
Acid effect.
and you can basically that the skin just feels you just lose all sensation from that point.
Oh no, damn.
So
It's poison. Yeah. That's
So-
why it's constitution. The Dimitri is raising his cloak over the top of himself type stuff to reduce their skin.
Mhm.
Do we have any potential cover nearby?
You do have trees nearby that you can rush towards.
Yep. Dimitri will be spurring his. Well,
You don't have a mount.
Hey,
do you?
He's got an
But-
imaginary mount.
but the mount didn't last very long.
Right.
It depends on how long
Well,
that's going for.
Balaf gestures to Willie to come to him under the shield.
Okay.
So you join the other halfling known as Simply Red under the shield.
Who the hell said Simply Red was invited?
He didn't ask.
He was already there.
Oh no, I accidentally tripped and knocked him out. I knocked him out from under the shield. Oh. That's a shame.
Okay, as Dimitri heads off towards the trees, what does our knightly Sir Clovis do?
I think he'll fly out of the way of this rain.
You can see the range dropping probably about 100 feet in all directions around you.
Yeah, he'll get his mount to fly very quickly.
Okay, give me a Constitution
Not
saving
as
throw for
quickly
your
as
mount.
a
It flies
guardian
80
horse.
So that's a 16.
16. Okay, so you see your mount start trying to fly. Seems to be having some sort of trouble, but it does manage to get you off. And you now also have to make another fortitude Constitution saving throw as you're flying up into the poison.
Okay, I'm going to spend a luck point. got the feat lucky. Oh, natural 20.
Natural 20.
There we go.
Okay, so you're still in the falling rain at 80 feet. Because it is
and
100 feet around.
It can dash, which I think is like is that a double move?
Dash.
Yeah, dash is effectively an extra movement. If it's a bonus action, then you got 3 movements effectively in a turn.
So yeah, apparently can dash. With the griffin can dash, so it'll dash as well. Give me another 160 feet.
Okay. So you go and abandon the party.
Well, I'll just get out of where it's raining, and my character will take out his longbow, and I don't know if he's in range. Would he be in range?
If you've done the dash with and moved that much, you generally don't have a.
Well, that's my griffin's
One of them
turn.
should have been you. Unless you talk to people on top of your griffin all the time, I assumed you got off to tell them about stuff.
Oh, right. No, I probably talk down to people off my griffin.
In which case, then you will be.
I was assuming you were staying on his griffin.
You will also then be represented of always on your griffin unless you say otherwise.
Okay.
Which will come and bite you at some point, I'm sure.
My griffin might, yes.
Well, that's what Barman chooses.
Yeah. Okay, so just making sure that if you want to be
Never
on
be on the horse.
you are, and so you wanted to move 180 feet from them, or did you want to do the double move and the dash?
What's the difference?
Difference is one of them puts you about 80 feet from these flying snakes. The other one will put you at about 60 feet from the snakes. The other one would put you at 120 feet from the snakes.
Okay, so I'll fly like sort of up and out until I'm like definitely out of the rain, and my griffin will go as fast as it can. It says it can take, it says it moves and acts as you direct it with just 3 action options: dash, disengage, and dodge. So it'll dash, it'll move and dash.
Okay.
And then my character will take out his longbow and take a shot.
If you're controlling your griffin.
Is that how it works?
In some cases, you can give him commands to do stuff, and it'll go off and do things.
Okay, it just says your griffin obeys your commands to the best of its ability, taking its turn on your initiative.
Okay.
Moves and acts as you direct it. I don't know.
So it's effectively getting its own 2 actions or whatever type stuff while you get your other actions.
I'm not too sure.
Just making sure, because action economy is an important thing to make sure we get right.
I think that's what it means. I think it the griffin does its own thing, unless it it gets shaken up and then I have to roll animal handling and stuff.
Okay, so yes, you are on top of the thing, and then you can make a attack. You have mounted combat, don't you?
Yep.
As the feat?
Yep.
In which case, I don't believe you need to make a check.
Am I at it? Did you say in melee, or I was thinking?
You are mounted combat has different rules, which is useful if I actually remember where I put my book.
I have advantage on melee.
But you weren't actually aiming to charge the snakes.
No, I wasn't charging
you were
them.
flying
I was
away from
flying
them.
out of their rain. And
you get your bow
So you'll
out,
be able to use bow.
and I'll give you an attack.
A natural 20.
Okay. So yes, you get to.
Nice pair.
So it's just so 6 times 2 is 12 on one of them.
Okay, so your arrow managed to pierce 2 of them, and they start spiraling down faster.
And I have an extra attack because I'm a certain level fighter. And I'm going to use another luck point. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. But anyway. And I get 18 plus 5 is 23.
Okay, 23 is also a hit.
And I get another 6 damage.
Okay. It's flying with your arrow sticking out of it.
Okay.
And you see the entire swarm stop going down and start turning towards you.
Oh, great.
You attracted their attention.
I'm helping, guys.
And so they all move 60 feet in your direction.
But that's fair, considering the fact that you attracted their attention already by flying around.
Well, actually, they can move 100 feet in your direction.
Jeez.
And if they're doing that, then they can simply choose to swarm and move another 100 feet as their actual action.
So I'm surrounded in a ball of these creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
And because they are a swarm, they only have one attack.
Alright.
Okay, so...
Alright, short career.
Yep. I shot, and then I died.
Okay, just making sure I get swarm right, because they might not actually roll.
I wouldn't have thought they'd rolled a hit, wouldn't they? Don't they do automatic damage when you're in this swarm?
That's some of the Pathfinder rules for swarm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's because I haven't done swarms in D&D for so long
No.
now.
Haven't dealt with them. Okay.
Oh no, they still have it to hit. Okay, so... They will have missed you. What's your armor class?
A 19.
What's the armor class of your Griffin?
Griffin's armor class is 13.
13. Okay, so they missed you, but they did hit the Griffin.
But with the mounted combat feat, I think he can demand that it attacks him.
Can I?
It's not a single opponent.
Yeah, it's a case of
It's an area
being a
effect.
swarm and attack everything in the area.
Everything in the thing
gotcha.
get attacked by the one roll.
That's a shame. Alright.
Okay, give me a fortitude save for the mount.
An 8.
An 8. Your mount.
This will make Climbers happy,
Your mount
so
stops
you'll be without
flying
your mount soon.
Oh dear.
and seems to just stop moving.
As
That's not a good thing when you're this
As a
time of year.
reaction, I will cast Featherfall. I can cast Featherfall once per day.
Yep.
And I'll hold on to my mount to try and slow its descent.
On yourself.
Yeah. I can cast. Well, yeah. I can cast Featherfall once per day. So I'll cast it on my Griffin. That's a good point.
That was why you're like on yourself seem to be it's like yes, and I'll hang on to something more than my weight.
Good point.
But just asking these things is always worth doing. I could have gone sure, we'll do that. You have 60 feet in which you can cast.
But he's delving into some rules minutiae.
And the amusing thing is, it's a falling creature that you can cast it on.
Yep.
Which doesn't. Sometimes they say humanoid. It's always good to check these things, because you can be caught out with humanoid target, and it's like, crap. Okay, so yes, and your Griffin lands softly on the ground after you use your reaction to go. Ah!
Yep.
As you can see, all these things starting to spiraling down towards you. Now, I'm going to ask for initiative at this point from everyone. See how else you'd like to continue this battle. Though, considering one of you has taken off from the others and drawn away the target, it's up to you if you want to save him.
The question is, how far away has he landed from us?
He would have landed about, because he did technically 3 moves with the animal, so that means he moved, because it can fly 80.
Well, I sort of went up and out of the rain.
You,
So it's mainly to get out of the rain.
the rain is, a big thing around you.
Yep.
The quickest way is straight, not up.
So what exactly is the rain?
It is actually them dripping poison on you.
Right.
Venom. They're speaking venom, effectively.
And that they know their venom incapacitates their prey.
I'm glad I used the
Instead of going, I open my mouth and taste it. I hate when people say that.
I
before.
can't feel my tongue.
Okay, so what is a Clovis's initiative?
I forgot what I rolled. Let's see. 8 plus... Initiative is just dexterity, right?
Dexterity, unless you have something that gives you bonuses.
So
Which
I've got
is very rare.
10 initiative.
10. What do we give for Dimitri?
19.
That's not too unusual. What do we give for Willie?
19.
Also not particularly unusual. Who's rolling for Playman?
Yeah, someone could roll at advantage, please.
12 with advantage.
A
12.
Right.
Plus whatever.
And I will roll for our nice creatures. Okay, so at this stage we have Dimitri going first, or Willie. Who would like to go first between the two of you?
I'll defer to me.
So how far away do we work out they were?
Okay, so how far can the
I
Griffin
mean,
fly?
are they still coming down,
How
or
far
they
can a
actually
griffin
they
fly
followed them
normally?
with?
80 foot around.
So that would make it 240 feet away.
Well, I would have gone diagonally, like with that distance. That's what I was thinking.
Again, the thing is, you've got creatures above you coming down towards you.
Oh,
The
okay.
fastest way is to go fairly flat.
You were going fairly flat.
You said to want to get away from them as much as possible. If you fly up, you halve your movement.
Okay, sure.
That's the standard thing for increasing your altitude is at half speed. And so you would technically be just outside their range instead of way outside their range.
Okay, so what did we say it was? About 240 or something?
About 240 feet.
And
so the range no longer dropping on you, so you're about 120 feet away from the rain.
Right. And yeah, Dimitri's movement undercover compared to the other guy under shield, I'm assuming doesn't make any real difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, that the rain's no longer falling on you as it sort of moved and followed the flying tasty piece.
Exactly. And how big an area are these snakes now filling? Now that they've got a target around the downed griffin.
Well, they haven't come down to the ground yet. They're still up in the air, having just dropped them.
Okay,
they take up a 100-foot diameter sphere.
Okay. So 240, 180, not quite. I will aim to do basically a move, a bonus dash, and then another move, so that I'm at about the 120 or whatever away. So I'm not actually still out of range of the falling venom.
Yep.
And preferably under a tree still to provide some cover.
Yep. You managed to do that quite successfully. Is that all your actions?
Yeah. So that was 3 actions to move up to 90 feet.
Okay, Willie.
I'll cast fly.
Yep.
And then move up 60 feet. Is that still too close? Or?
They have moved over that way, 240 feet.
Right.
So you're not going to be...
It's 120 feet until you come underneath them again.
Okay.
And because you spend your action to cast the spell,
yep,
you then can use your movement to fly.
Well, I guess my question is, does the spell go off?
Yes.
Is that...
this one is transmutation. That would be a check using your history.
Transmutation. Good question.
I believe it is transmutation.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But it does go off.
If you make
the spell.
24.
It takes off, and one of the things you notice is you're flying a lot faster than you expected.
Okay, how fast?
It's now going about double your speed.
Alright, so does that get me within 120 feet?
Puts you right to the edge of it.
Alright, then I will cast a fireball. Well, I'll do a Wonder, and let's see what happens.
So that was action movement. Can you use a Wonder?
Oh, yeah. I guess it's not.
But you Wonder.
Alright.
Got Wonder ready.
Yeah.
Okay. Playman. There's a battle happening and you're not part of it. What does Playman do?
Yeah, not much.
Well, they're not attacking you at the moment.
The shield over his head?
The shield is already over his head. He'll continue to move towards the downed griffin riding dickhead. Get nowhere near him.
Okay.
So you move about 60 feet, do you?
40-foot movement.
40-foot movement, so you can move 80?
Yeah.
Unless you've got a bonus move of some sort?
Are you flying as well, Dimitri?
No, I'm just running, but I get 90 because I get a bonus dash.
Okay. Carry on.
It's that rogue part that just slips in there and helps.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see the flock of birds come down towards the downed griffin, and I could actually roll damage for that one now. Okay. So our Griffin Rider takes. That was a 13 plus 3, so you take 16 damage and get to make another Constitution saving throw.
My character takes 16 damage?
Yeah.
Cool.
As does your Griffin. You got to roll damage for it first round, so you got lucky.
Okay, you're not using my last luck point. 17 plus 5, 22.
Okay, you can feel numbness in your body at the moment, but you're still in control.
And my Griffin gets a natural 20.
Gets a natural 20, but he
was already paralysed.
He's already paralysed.
So he's already got it coursing through him. He has to actually make a couple more saves to get back up again.
Okay.
Okay, but it's not getting any worse. But he did also take another 16 damage.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, he's taken 16 already.
Yeah. Oh, he took 16 that round. I forgot to apply damage in the first round, so he got lucky.
Okay.
Okay. And then you hear someone whistling nearby, and you see some flying feathered snakes come flying out of the trees to the south with brilliant coloured snakes instead of the dark batwing snakes that have been attacking you. These ones seem to be about 2 to 3 times as big.
Okay.
And they seem to be flying at the other snakes.
Alright.
Okay, your go.
My
You're
turn?
up, Yep.
Yeah, my character doesn't know really what else to do, so he takes out his sword and slashes at them with everything he's got.
Mm-hmm.
10 plus 17. Is 17 a hit?
17 is a hit. You'd be hard pressed to miss these things, but you generally kill one at a time.
So that's 13 damage.
You slice one of them in half.
And he gets another attack, because he's that level. And he gets 9.
9 still hits.
9 still hits.
Like I said, lots of creatures, lots of opportunity.
12 damage.
And
Like a
another
bitch
one
environment.
goes flying down.
Right.
But you can still count more than you've killed.
Yep. And he'll I don't know if it would help. Would it help if he threw his shield over his Griffin?
Possibly, but which part of the Griffin?
I was going to say,
the knee,
it's
the
not a big
foot,
shield.
Yeah, good point.
the part of the eye, part of the beak.
And he'll call for help. He'll say, "Friends, help! Lots of snakes."
Okay, so Dimitri is now up. What would Dimitri like to do? You've seen these other birds join the flying snakes join the fray, who you actually recognize from some of your readings earlier.
Yep, okay, because these are more of the symbol that's closer toward Oxantiotl rather than Axiotl, wasn't it?
The ones you're looking at the moment are at Xantiotl has actually taken their silhouette as his image.
Yeah.
But they
okay, they're the ones that attacked us.
But they
But
are
the feathered serpents.
they are actually the feathered serpent themselves are the image of a Truagan.
Right. Yep. Okay. Yes. In one of his many forms. As I said, again, he's privately thinking, "God damn it! Does that Korendian know nothing? Why did he talk about the peasant having Ashcan feathered winged snakes there when obviously they're not they're feathered serpents, not winged snakes, totally different." But then, having gone 90 last time and they've come down somewhat, what kind of range away are they from me at the moment?
Okay, they are within about 20 feet of you at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Because the swarm came down and came closer.
Oh, okay, but and the swarm's still covering like 100-foot diameter area type
It
stuff,
is,
is it?
yes.
So while the Griffin is still 100 odd feet away, the swarm's actually quite close.
It
Or at least
is,
part of
yes.
the swarm is quite close. Right. Do I think that I could get a fireball off without killing any or hitting any of the feathered serpents that are flying around now?
Depends on how the fireball goes.
A standard fireball, if I'm talking.
Am I in the area?
Not yet. No.
Okay,
No,
no worries then. Carry on.
You're almost above him at the moment.
Okay.
Yep, I will try and put a fireball off. 16, 23 for the Arcane check. So,
Okay, your fireball goes off without a hitch.
Yep. And then it's D6. Then 20, 29, 32 points of fire damage.
You see a big chunk of the vipers just fall to the ground. So it does a 20-foot radius.
Yeah, 20-foot radius.
Okay, you sort of see the swarm shrink by about probably about 20 feet at least.
I mean, so technically it gets the deck saving throw, but I don't think that applies to swarm, so. And it might not be a matter anyway, because I think they've all got less than about 15 hit points, haven't they? So.
Well, even on a natural 20, they still get affected.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Willie.
So I'll use the Wand of Wonder.
Let's see
Wow.
what special...
35
Remember you have 2 rolls.
and
so
66.
Okay, so what is 35? Let me have a look.
2 times 17 plus 1.
There we go. So, 35. And what was the other one?
66.
66. Okay, so you can either shrink yourself, as if you cast a large reduce on yourself, or cause an animal appear into an unoccupied space near where you're casting it at.
And that's just a normal animal.
Either a rhinoceros, an elephant, or a rat.
So none of those are going to be helpful in this fight.
Well, if you cast it up in the air, it might land
A rhinoceros for an
to the
elephant would be
ground.
interesting.
Okay, I'll go for a rhinoceros in midair over the top of the scaly serpents.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
You've got to roll a D100 again for the animal.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
actually get to choose the animal, so it might be a little rat.
Alright. 30.
30. Okay, so you aim for a rhinoceros and you got an elephant.
Okay, so an elephant appears and smashes
how
through
far
all
up in the air
the
does-
scaly
how far up in the air
serpents.
does it appear?
Assuming it can appear above, like in midair.
Well, it says
Well, it's an
unoccupied
empty space.
space nearest the target. It doesn't say on the ground.
Okay.
And the devil's
And you can
always in the
target it up.
detail.
Alright.
And so you hear this god-awful wrenching sound as sparks come out of your wand.
Yeah.
As you see what appears to be a massive elephant with fur coming off it and tusks bigger than the griffin.
Right.
Suddenly falling with hair everywhere, coming down nowhere near the griffin. But
Oh,
close.
good. Right. Yeah, but okay, good.
And
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Jeez.
And basically, it's just looking at you as it's falling with one of those.
Right.
You sort of get the opinion of,
Oh no,
Why?
not again.
And then I'll fly. And then I'll fly away to. Yeah. 'Cause I don't want
Okay.
to. I don't want to get hit by the.
The mammoth's falling, thinking, "Oh no, not again."
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
and somehow you've managed to bring something that's not supposed to be here.
Yeah, but it's going to be short-lived. I mean, I don't know how much damage it will take when it hits the ground.
Oh,
Is it like I don't know.
Well, I rolled D8s instead of D6s for it, and it still managed to hit the ground rather softly.
Right. Good.
And is currently staring at the griffin on the ground below it.
Okay.
Because it is bigger than the griffin by quite a lot.
The unconscious griffin.
Yeah.
Aw.
Did it go through the swarm of serpents?
Did it do anything
Winged
to the serpents?
There are quite a few bodies of squish serpents beneath it,
Oh,
as it used them to help pad its fall.
Ah.
It has all this hair going out everywhere after all.
so I don't know how big according to the monster manual, is the elephant.
Okay.
Well, I think you'll find it's a mammoth. And,
Right.
Wrong book. Player's Handbook doesn't have the mammoth in it. But it does have other animals. Let's see. Mammoth.
Okay, at least huge, but possibly gargantuan.
Maybe it's under elephant. Do we have elephant? No, we don't have elephant there. I'll have a quick look in...
It like at the right at the end there'll be something.
Yeah, because isn't there an animal section that...
Something like that.
There is, and it may actually be under dinosaur. No, we do have mammoth. It's a huge beast.
Right. Okay, so I don't know what number of serpents...
You've got no control over it, have you?
No, it just appears and then drops.
Yeah, because it isn't
That's
under
right.
his control.
But I'm hoping that it would get surprised by several serpents.
Okay. And then we're up to Playman.
So does it take out a particular number or?
Hard to tell because you're also looking it away from there. So
Honestly,
Right.
it's
just
falls
repeat
as-
last action. There's not much he can do.
So you're moving
He's moving
closer.
opposite. Well, no, because you could attack this time because they've come down and they're covering a big enough area that technically you could reach them. Although you probably,
Why not?
with a charge, you could probably attack. So, not that you'll do much.
Actually-
it's a swarm.
Is the griffin still on the ground?
Yes, it is.
But he's still quite some
Blimey.
distance away from you.
How far away?
It would be... Because you only moved... What's your standard move on the ground?
30
40
or
is
40.
my
So he went
regular.
80 feet last time.
So that
So
means
he was
it's
about
still
40
160...
feet from the...
It's 160 feet from you.
But the
yep,
the
I'm
snakes,
fighting and
the snakes are only about 40 feet away from you.
yeah, let's kill some snakes.
Okay, so you move in, give me an attack as you charge into the snakes.
Can somebody help me out with that?
Get a natural one.
Yeah, so Stephen never rolls for me again.
Add a natural 2.
I'll leave that up to you, Martin.
Martin got you a 2.
So with the reroll from Martin, you're now on a 2.
So you didn't trip in the middle of the snakes at least.
It's just an
And you
attack.
probably still hit.
Yeah, well that's good because I'm +8 to hit.
Then you
I'm
actually
+9
hit.
now.
You actually hit.
Right.
Cool. I'm assuming whatever I hit dies, but
And yes, you
somebody.
do. You do manage to cut the creature into tiny pieces. As you are rolling
Oh,
something like 2 or 3 dice.
And
I
You
do
get another
believe I have
attack,
enough
don't
to attack. Yep.
And Martin's rolling again with a
19.
So he's actually gotten better with that one, and he does this amazing swing, and still manages to kill another one.
Is that a improved crit? I don't know.
You think it's an
I
improved?
don't think Fifth Ed has that. Really.
Oh,
It-
okay.
actually, it does on some things. I can have a quick look.
Yes, it is with weapons weapons mastery, but
Oh, weapons master
thing
is on
died.
house, yeah.
In which case, he'd be killing 2 of them.
yeah, cool. I'll take that.
Okay, so 2 of them are down, and then we move on to the Vipers. They try to swarm around them, and they manage to hit Plowman, the Griffin, and the Griffin Rider.
Oh.
This time dealing 15 damage, and each of you gets a Constitution saving throw.
Is this just regular damage, or regular peasant damage, or anything else?
Poison damage.
Poison.
You got an 11.
Brilliant.
I don't know what bonus you get.
21.
Sorry, was it a Constitution?
Yep.
Yep.
17.
18.
So doing well on that, but you still take the poison damage. Yep. Okay. But you're not under the you're not paralyzed by it. Okay, so you then see probably another 10 of these multicolored flying serpents come out of the trees, followed by what appears to be the shepherd as they're herding the vipers away from you.
Ah, that's nice.
So you for the first time, if you're around, you're not constantly being swarmed by these bat-like snakes.
That's nice. Just by winged serpents instead.
Well, they're not attacking you.
It's a big improvement.
That is a big improvement. Okay, so now
And they're not spitting at you either. They're not raining on you.
And now it's your go as you're seeing these beautifully coloured feathered flying snakes around you, keeping the other ones away.
Yeah, I'll pull out my bow and kill more of them. I hate them now.
Kill more of the feathered ones?
No, the evil ones.
Okay. I just mentioned the feathered ones, so I was just making sure.
Is a 13 a hit?
A 13 is a hit.
It's 6 points of damage.
Okay, you see your arrow stick into it and just sit there as it's flying.
And my next attack gets a natural 1.
A natural 1. Okay, you hear this pinging sound from your bow.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently something broke the string.
Oh.
You notice that it's covered in the venom of the vipers.
Ah, that damn venom.
So use acid.
Alright, well, that'll be my turn.
And Dimitri's go. Saving throw for the end of turn for your mount.
You think it gets better or gets worse?
7.
7. Okay, so doesn't get better, doesn't get worse. Well, technically it gets worse, but he hasn't recovered from it. He'll get so many successes to his failures. Okay, so Jeremy, you're up.
So effectively the swarm has been pushed away by these feathered serpents.
They have been.
Right?
They have been pushed to the side.
And are they the numbers of the swarm could become in a kind of countable level? Or are we still talking many dozen?
It's about a 60 foot radius swarm now instead of 100 foot.
Right. Okay. Well, and how far away is the centre of that swarm from me at the moment then?
It would probably be about... I'd probably say... I'll say it's about 60 foot from you.
Okay, so like the edge of it, so the centre's 120 feet away?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the centre would be 60 feet away from you, the other edge is 120 feet away.
Oh, okay, so they're actually, the swarm is quite close to me still.
Yeah, it got pushed away from the down griffin.
That's right then. I will aim another fireball then in the centre of the swarm.
Yep.
To, on the idea that there's probably no feathered serpents in there when they're shepherding the swarm.
Okay. Give me a skill check.
17 on the spellcasting, which is not quite enough.
Okay, so you gesture, there's sparks.
Bloody Hollow World!
And it's now up to Willie to save the day.
Alright, so I'll hover over...
There isn't a big woolly mammoth looking down at the griffin on the ground, rather annoyed at the moment.
So it's not fighting.
Not yet.
Right.
It's going to go after you.
Well, if I'm 120 feet or 200 feet up or whatever it is...
I didn't say it's going to... Its action occurs after you.
Okay,
So
alright.
it's not chasing you, it goes after
Alright. Okay,
You
well,
created this problem, you better solve it.
I don't need to solve it.
you. You use the
It's
one
there.
again?
I mean,
You're
am
not the
I...
one being next to it.
Am I creating danger for you?
Yes. Yeah, it's looking at my griffin. It landed on the ground near me.
Right.
A huge-sized mammoth.
I don't know of a way to solve that problem. So
that's like
instead, I'll just create another problem.
Maybe they'll cancel each other out.
So another wonder.
Roll your nature check. Mammoths are vegetarian.
I got a 9.
9 on your first roll for the wonder.
No, that was for my nature check, the one that.
Nature check.
So 91 was the roll, and 18 was the other roll.
So 91, either a burst of colourful shimmering light extending from you in a 30-foot radius.
That's a 91.
That's a 91.
That's shit.
Yeah, because it's not they don't
for
necessarily get
parties,
better or worse to what numbers you're going with. They're
And what was
completely
the other
random.
one?
18.
18.
At 18. Or you cast Gust of Wind.
Far out. This is shit.
You did have a chance to read through the options.
I know.
They're all spells.
I know, but they're guaranteed spells.
I know, they're guaranteed spells. They all work.
100. They work 100% of the time when you need them 1% of the time.
All right. So I'm
But he gets
using.
a choice of 2.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm
not too
using
bad.
Gust of Wind to push down. I think that's how it works. Gust
I
of
think
Wind.
the gust of wind probably comes from the direction of your wand. I would expect it. Oh no, it should be controlled by the direction.
But that would be a good thing to push.
Absolutely, gust of wind would be good.
Yep. Good call, David.
Thanks.
Certainly more than sintering lights.
Well, at least
A line of strong wind, 60 foot long, 10 feet wide, blast from you in the direction you choose for the spell's duration. Although it's starting from the. Hang on, does the wand talk about. Or does it start from the
Blast
point
blast
of
from
origin?
you in a direction you choose for the spell's duration.
Alright, so I'm
Yeah,
pushing
but-
down on it.
It's because you're up in the air, it's going down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to slam them into the ground.
Okay.
Preferably not on Blarman.
No, Blarman's not in the next spot. It's only a 10 foot wide dust that's going down, so.
Yeah, it's not going to hit
Yeah,
all
look,
of them.
I don't care what it is, so long as it doesn't get me squished with a whole bunch of these weird fat, spitting, anesthetic weird things.
Okay.
No worries.
I believe it uses your DC, no DC 15. Okay. So, you blow them and they just seem to be resisting the strength of your gust.
Right.
They rolled a 15 on the dice.
That's that magical flashy
Well,
dice you've got.
the
Just a bunch
DC,
of bread to dick over
Of
parts.
the wand.
DC of the wand is 15, you're
Whereas
right.
if it was the
Yeah.
staff, it uses your DC.
Yeah.
That's the difference between wands and staves.
Okay.
Okay. So, it would have been nice. Naaman.
But I'll maintain it.
Yeah.
So it's concentration.
It's a bit like Dimitri only had was one off getting the fireball off.
Yeah.
If I had taken that extra ability bonus as well as the feat at 4th level, he would have been fine.
Blarman's going to attempt to kill 2 more weird things, and that's about all he can do. Actually, he's going to drop the glaive.
Yep.
Draw his. I think he's got a hand axe. I
Yep.
don't know, one shitty little weapon.
You got 2 glaives.
And
they're both
lift the shield
serious.
above
He's
his
got-
head
he's got a
and
halberd and a
keep
glaive.
swinging.
So you're pulling out 2 hand axes?
One hand axe and redonning the shield.
Right.
So
Okay.
they're going to have a harder time hitting him. Well, the problem is I don't know the shield can be all that effective for you at this stage.
Doesn't want to get spat on.
Yeah, but they're down at your level. You're being bitten now, not spat on.
Oh, yeah, good point.
And
Yeah,
it's a storm around you.
Let's just keep hacking with the glaive.
Okay, you keep the glaive going and give me 2 attack rolls for him, Martin.
17
Definite
and
hit.
14.
And a definite hit, so you whack a couple of them down. Then,
Roll on.
okay, so the Vipers seem to be unable to push the feathered serpents back.
So obviously there are uncountable vipers, but how many feathered serpents? Is there like a equally many, or just...
Well, you're counting about 20 feathered serpents, and each of the serpents are about 3 times as long as each of the Vipers.
Right, okay.
But they seem to be forcing them up and away from people.
Yeah, you're obviously much more... Yeah, cool. Happy with that.
And they just keep them from coming down. And then so
Are they doing that? Just briefly, sorry to interrupt. What method are they using to herd? Like just essentially fear to keep them away? Like they're naturally afraid of these things, or are they nipping? Or
Well, they seem to be biting, hissing, screaming, anything that seems to make the vipers shy away. But they're
cool, hissing and screaming was what I was after. Next is
making
fantastic.
lots
Thank
of
you.
noise. Okay, so then Sir Clovis.
He's just gonna hang out by his griffin and
And I'll give the griffin a healing fortitude saving throw.
natural 1.
Natural 1.
You might want to re-roll that if you want to save your griffin.
Do I have any
Yeah,
reroll
great.
Well,
points?
party does have at least one left.
Alright, I'll reroll it. Natural 20!
Ah.
What a twist.
Okay,
What
so
the hell?
You,
You got some Greek dice.
it almost as it appears as if he's about to stop breathing, then he just kicks out everywhere and stands up again, almost knocking you over. And as you turn around, there's this big mammoth just staring down at you. Your griffin's staring up at it, and you're in between.
I'll make an animal handling check to make sure my griffin doesn't get any funny ideas.
Yeah.
Before a 14.
A 14. I think your griffin's got the idea of, oh crap, that can squish me.
Yep.
Well, we can,
Okay.
we can potentially better than, oh, look, big horsey.
Can my character will try and get back on his griffin?
Okay. You climb up on your griffin. Dimitri, what would you like to do now that you've been thwarted from another spell?
Yeah, let's go. We'll try another fireball in the middle of the swarm then. Actually take it down a notch. 19 on the dice this time,
So
so
it does
that's
go off.
26.
Nice.
So it might be good. It potentially might be good that it was aimed in the centre of the swarm, but if there's a bit of expansion.
He's actually doing some weird stuff. It's pretty good.
Multiple spells in the one combat. Very rare.
12, 16, 19, 22, 27, 30 points.
Okay. Everyone gets to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
Including Dimitri?
Oh.
Including Dimitri.
I better check. What else I get?
I got a 4.
20 for Dimitri.
And someone want to roll for Playman?
16.
Apparently,
Six.
he was good for that one. He got a 16 on that one. How much did Willie get?
6.
6. Okay, so as Dimitri's spell goes off, everyone hears this screeching in their head, and those of you who got below 15 actually take some mental damage.
I better check the concentration rules.
So that is your concentration is DC 10 or half damage taken, whichever's higher.
Right.
So in this case, 10.
So in which case,
Assuming you've taken. Oh no, so it was 15 on the saving throw, wasn't it? So
15 on
you
the
know what
saving
damage
throw.
is yet.
So damage is 13, so DC is 10. So those of you who got below 15 take 13 damage. Your griffin also gets the roll.
Oh, my griffin also gets to roll. Got a 21.
Got a 21, no damage.
How much damage was it?
It was 15 damage.
Oh boy, that's a lot of damage I've
13.
taken now.
20.
Sorry, 13 damage, so you get 2 points back.
So I retain concentration.
Yep. With a bit of a ringing headache, as suddenly the vipers just scatter
And that
in all
was-
directions.
Was it 13? Was it 13 points?
Yeah, 13 points.
13 points.
They just seem to scatter everywhere as the
The fireball went off in the centre of them and they were dispersed.
apparently you hit whatever was keeping them cohesive.
The center of the swarm.
Okay. Well, it was the obvious natural part to target. Why when other people going for that?
Okay, so and then it's raining snakes around Clovis, and then Mammoth, who just decides at that point are just wandering off.
Did he pass the mental damage check?
I don't. I should check
No,
if
Got a bad headache.
Yeah, apparently the headache was enough for it to go wandering off. He got a natural one, so it took 26 damage from it.
I'll
Is it
just
still
check
standing?
Yeah. It has
Yeah,
this-
it's still
because since I did the gust of wind,
Mhm.
I don't know if that means
Technically, you wouldn't have been able to keep it up
The-
for
the
concentration
elephant.
and the fly at the same time.
so I would have dropped the elephant because it's pretty useless on the ground.
It's
I don't
the
think
gust
that-
of wind.
I mean, it's pretty.
I know that your flying would have dropped because that's the concentration. Bringing the elephant out was not a concentration effect. Once it's here, it's
Right.
there, and that's done.
Oh, okay. So
you
no
have no
worries.
control
But-
over it.
But does the
Good
same
point.
apply to the gust of wind? Can you sustain that from the wand?
Technically, he could have chosen to sustain it and dropped like a stone, or you can only
Let it go.
You can only control one thing
Okay,
at
so
a time.
you did have the option of sustaining. Okay.
Yes. So the amusing is, I would have said he just let the thing go without sustaining it, because otherwise he would have, bink.
Yes. Good point. Thank you.
Oh, good. I was trying to be smart and not cruel when we both missed that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the Vipers head off, and you see a tall for this region. He's about 5 foot. He sort of looks like he comes from the
Tall dwarf.
Azcan areas.
Oh, okay.
Most of the humans are short in this world.
Yeah.
You are giants among people.
What am I? A halfling.
Halfling, yes. Which is why halflings are so devastating, when halflings are just so much bigger than they are described elsewhere.
Right.
Because halflings go between
But
2.5 to 3.5
But
feet
they're
tall.
called halflings still.
Still called
All
halflings.
right.
So you're about half. On average, you're about half the height.
Yep.
To just above their height.
Hmm. But not a threat. Okay.
Still, they
Oh,
still
it
see
could
you as
be
a
halfling.
threat.
All right.
Considering a halfling can eat more than its body weight.
Dangerous.
Just because you can. Okay. All right.
They have a reputation for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this what appears to be a young shepherd carrying a crook. It appears to be in his teens, with long blonde hair, beard. That is, barely there. And he seems to be wandering over towards you. As you see once the flying serpents scare away the vipers, they flock around him.
And how far away is it from us right now?
He's probably about 80 to 100 feet away from you.
Okay. Dimitri will wave as he starts to walk over in that direction, calling out, thanks for the assistance.
You hear him call out as the rest of you are recovering from that strange combat with, "Oi, welcome strangers. Always glad to see new folk around these parts. Don't see many this way. You're an odd-looking lot, aren't you? Mayhaps you're off on some adventure, And he doesn't let you cut in at all, he just keeps going. As a boy, I often thought of going off on Galvant like that, but I grew up, and I don't know if I'd want to travel with a strange and disreputable looking lot like yourselves. No offence. Sorry if I'm offending you. It's my curse, you see. As a scoundrel of a travelling thief sold me this cursed ring 2 years back. As the tides change, we say here. He was just a smooth-talking rascal, and he played me on my physical attraction to a barmaid named Maro. Wear this ring, he says, and ask your questions. The way to discover Maro's heart. So I pay his fee, ask Maro questions, and soon, all against my will, I'm telling him what I'm really like. Maro slaps my face and orders me out of the tavern. Then, all over the next week, I find I can't stop telling people the truth. Just like that. And so almost the whole town turns me out to be, and I decide to be a shepherd. As lazy and unrewarding life this is, but peaceful. And usually I don't have to talk. Your appearing has put me into two minds. First, gladness at some company, and second, the pain at showing off my stupidity. At which point you get a chance to actually, as he seems to take a breath. So he said all that without really taking a breath.
Right.
Almost as if compelled to.
So, was he in control of the feathered serpents or the oily serpents?
You think he was in control of the shepherd serpent, the feather serpents, because they are flocking around him.
Ah, okay. All right. And did he lose any of those?
They seem to have survived pretty well.
Okay.
Some of them have a few bites and stuff, but they didn't seem to be affected by the poison.
Okay.
Now, greetings, I said, thank you for your assistance. A marvellous flock that you have there.
Yes. It says, fine herders they are, trained them myself. Serpents are just fine animals. The vipers that attacked you and drove, and my serpents came out of the, they drove my serpents out of the lands where they come from, and my grandmother was a girl. And here this way we've got vipers on the retreat. Serpent meat grows somewhere around here. Serpents eat that stuff. They're ready for fighting anything in the air. And he draws a sprig of green leaf herb that smells faintly of mint as you get closer. And his serpents all gather around and start nibbling on it from his head.
Right. So that will heal them up.
It's the equivalent of catnip for
Yeah.
And he just keeps going on and on about the serpents and how wonderful they are, from breeding cycle to coloration to how to tell the sexes. He just doesn't stop until you interrupt him.
Do you want the finger with the ring on it cut off?
And then he starts going into how he likes having his fingers where they are, and while it's a curse, there are other things that can remove it besides mutilation. And he goes into the first thing they think about being mutilating someone to remove a curse. He does it actually speak highly of you, and goes on to all these very dark and twisted parts about how he's thought about killing himself and other sort of stuff along the same lines.
Great.
Right, we've taken him to a dark place.
Perhaps as compensation for your service, we might remove the ring without cutting off your finger.
He would be most appreciative, and he goes in this whole different spiel about how he's tried to get it removed from various other people, but very few people can stand being around him long enough to actually assist him, and those that have been able to stand around long enough, none of them could actually cast the remove curse needed, and then it keeps going on and on and on until you actually do something to interrupt him.
Yeah.
You can imagine Playman having this cursed ring on being one of his worst nightmares.
Well, so I'm happy to attempt to remove the ring if you allow me, and I will take the ring off your hands if you wish.
He's more than happy for you to take the cursed ring as far away as possible, he says. With lots of explanation and over-explaining more than once.
Okay. Well, perhaps there is some place that we could sit down and rest and recuperate in preparation for such a ritual.
He does. He leads you back to where his sheep are, and he does seem to have some sort of residence nearby. So you can see online, that is what the serpent looks like.
They're the feathered
They're the
serpents.
feathered serpents, so you can see.
Or they're the
as well.
vipers.
They're the feathered serpents.
Yep.
So the vipers have bat wings, whereas these guys have feathered wings. If you see in there.
Yeah. I was looking at it, looked like they were feathers, so yeah.
And for no reason at all, I gave him a sort of New Zealander accent. And considering I can't do accents, that was amusing from my perspective.
Right,
Yeah.
so as a wizard, you can change spells from day to day, is that right? Or whenever you...
Well, day to day, it's been one long day.
Yes, so I don't have that option.
Some characters pray at sunrise. Specifically.
Right.
It's been a long sunrise.
Mm.
And those that pray at noon, you don't pray at any time, because it's always noon.
Yeah. So I'm...
No, well...
So yeah, you can change yours
it's
out.
It's not so much that Dimitri can change spells, or maybe, I mean, he probably can, I'm not saying this to bed, but it's the fact that, hey, she's coming into the Hollow World, remove curse has been one that he's been on tip of his lip most of the time.
Right, gotcha.
He does sort of know how I run things, so he's used to that.
Well, no, okay, just being in Hollow World's a curse. Any opportunity to reduce it in some way.
Unfortunately, you can't remove Hollow World from the world.
That's right, okay.
Okay, so you cast Remove Curse on him?
Okay, we'll settle down for a bit, and the others can get themselves sorted and patched up a bit. While yes, Dimitri will attempt to remove curse.
Okay, so you end up spending over an hour of hearing lots of talking from him.
That's all right, because Dimitri's happy to be able to have a chat with him afterwards, and hopefully he'll be a little more directed in the chat and a little less excitable about the chat. So I think an abjuration spell goes off without a hitch in the Hollow World normally.
They do go off quite well. You don't actually have to roll for them.
Yeah. And obviously the effects will normally be heightened in some way. Not you can really heighten remove curse so much, but yes. He will attempt to recast remove curse.
Okay, you manage to succeed, and while you're going through all that, everyone gets a good look at the snakes. They're flying serpents. So, they look like when you appear, then this is how they appear to you. A ripple in the air, a wave of sunlight running along the sinuous line of sea green scales, a brush of feather-down wingtips on the maiden's cheek. She's blessed of the serpents is basically how they're seeing of the serpents in history go. They have been worshipped for a long time in the upper and outer world, and they've been missing from the outer world for a long time. And they come in many colours. They have jewel-like eyes, and it is also noted that they are known to be highly intelligent over time, and basically servants of the god Ka the Preserver, which is
So these are intelligent.
The children aren't, but the adults are.
Oh.
Okay.
The remove curse goes off, and he can remove the ring.
He removes the ring, and he sighs greatly as the ring comes off. He hands it to you and says, "Thank you." One word, doesn't say anything.
Thank you.
I'll hold on
As
to
one
one
word,
of the currently defunct bags of holding, and just say, "Yeah, just drop it in here."
He drops it in quite happily.
On the idea that yes, it's not using them much for anything at the moment, and I'd rather not touch it directly.
Well, I'm sure it can be a gift to someone else later.
Yeah. Dimitri will certainly hang on to it, because hey, it's a magical item. It's not just Dimitri has a number of cursed items as well as good ones.
So it basically is a properties of a ring of truth until someone puts it on. And then it is technically a ring of truth, but not the truth of other people.
It's the truth of you.
It forces you to tell the truth. It doesn't mean you always hear the truth.
Yeah. Right. And you can't stop telling the truth.
Dimitri will be able to try and talk to him a bit more as well. Ask him about the you're saying the fact that the serpents are native here, but the vipers aren't.
It says no. The vipers don't come anywhere near here normally. He moves south of the mountains in the center of the world to get away from them. Let's see.
And they followed, or
you've travelled all the way from Ashcan?
Yeah, the Akira mountain, the mountains across the center of the world. So he basically came around and decided to go where no one was. And he does not know why they've come this far south. But they have been apparently they harass flying creatures a lot.
Which direction are we travelling in?
You're heading southward.
Right.
So he's from this area up here.
Okay.
Where you went on your first adventure.
Yeah,
so
he's
following us, or kind of.
He came here quite a few years back.
Okay. but he's got
Right.
nothing to tell us about the areas further south.
Well, he says further south is where you'll find various flying prey and predators.
Okay.
So there are huge birds made of just skin that have wingspans bigger than each wing bigger than your griffin's wingspan total.
Okay.
So he's saying that he's actually Azcan. He not just looked and dressed like Azcan, he's actually Azcan. Is that the case?
Yeah, he is from the Azcan region,
Yep.
And are you able to
but he's no longer one of the people
get
because he
your
left.
animal back to life?
Well, they're
Oh,
quite
it's
surprised
okay,
with the fact that he
yeah.
actually left. So,
My character could use a
The-
long rest. He's,
yes,
taken
yeah.
a
You
hefty
know, it
amount of
takes a lot of
damage.
effort for them to leave, but they can do it.
yeah. The vipers are not native here, but the serpents are.
The serpents are native here. Yeah.
Yep. And do the serpents they're friendly enough for the rest of us as well, or is it just they're friendly for Dale?
Well, they're friendly as long as he doesn't order them to attack or someone attack him.
Okay. This mint that he had, does it grow in lots of places? Demetrius said be interested in the mint, and
He doesn't know
Finding
many
out.
places where it grows, but it does like to be higher up. So
Mhm.
he gathers most of his from up the mountain range, and he travels up there about once a cycle of one of the floating continents to go gather some.
right. Because okay, again, Dimitri's curious at the idea that hang on, something that it can effectively control some of the native animals around here that could be a defence against bad things. That's probably a good thing.
It's also where
Well, let's-
he had caught most of the vipers he trains. The serpents he trains.
Right. And do they take long to train?
No, he says they're fairly quick, far better than most of the large reptiles floating around.
Does he know where any adult ones are?
He's never seen an adult one.
Okay.
They just disappear when they're in his people's culture. They only ever seen migrating one way or the other in one or two. They never actually travel as a group. This is the most he's seen in one place is because he's raised them.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So these are all considered to be juvenile ones, are they?
They're all juvenile ones.
Right. So, did he say how big they get?
He says they get to be probably about 7 to 10 feet long.
So, yeah. And
But the Azcans see them as trophies, not as the beautiful creatures they are.
oh, so the feather serpents are up in Azcan as well.
That's their native lands, as far as he knows.
Right, but unlike the vipers, they've spread a bit more and they've come down here to the lands of Nithia. Are we in the lands of Nithia yet?
He says you're in the lands of the Genites. People no bigger than a foot in height, but they hate everything taller than them.
Ah, and
Super halflings.
yeah, halfling, quarterlings, much worse. And do they prefer to be up in the mountains here, or do they go down more on the plains?
They stay in the plains because they don't like getting high up, and they can hide in the grass quite well. You never see them coming. Even their homes hide.
Indeed. Yes, we were warned that travel through the plains was somewhat hazardous, but we were not explained why. But I'm guessing these Jedites might be part of the concern.
Well, not even the halflings venturing into that area, he says.
So,
They've learned.
and in this, the foothills of the mountains here that we're travelling through, are there any concerns that we should be aware of?
As long as you're in the
Other than
foothills, you're basically fairly safe. Most of the vipers, this is the first time I've seen them come this far south, he says.
Well,
He thought they were coming for him until they started attacking your winged friend over there.
yeah, well. And so, when you're not out here, Seventh, do you actually have a home nearby? Or have you got a home to return to now that you might be able to be more comfortable amongst other people?
He has enjoyed his solitude away from the people that he grew up with.
So where would be where is the closest community?
So the closest community to where I am is to the north in the forest of the Tangoru. They are warlike, but probably nicer. And as I don't attack them and I trade with them, I see them maybe once a month or so.
And to the south, we're actually heading on our way towards Nithia. Do you know anything about those people?
Don't like the Nithians at all. They're crazy people. They like fire magic. And they have burning deserts protecting their core lands.
Okay.
So he says you go that way for about 800 mile, and you'll join the desert, which then goes for another maybe about 600 miles across before you reach their actual fertile lands. So with 600 mile of burning desert, you're pretty safe. And it's considered their land, so that
the Tanagoro were?
The Tanagoro are about this is about 400 miles to the north of here, and they are constantly at war with the Nithians and the Scandinalfan and the Antillians and the Millennians. And occasionally the halflings who venture to the forests.
Okay.
But they find it easy to just pack up and move when they hear they're coming.
Okay. So there's no one nearby that we might be able to talk into purchasing some mounts or anything like that then?
Well, there was that mammoth you brought over here somehow. You could probably take most of you on its back.
Quite possibly, but I don't know that it's been broken.
It's not.
Blyman's got some ideas.
Oh, it's bloody good. Yeah, could you?
It's like when you do the bag of beasts sort of thing.
Yeah.
Pull it out. That creature is then permanently
Okay.
there, and it brings it from whatever closest community it was in. So it's not creating a new creature; it's moving it from where it was to there.
Right.
Martin Mac, to answer your question, it's not so much can I write it; it's would I write it, and I think the answer is yes.
It looks like a giant yak to you.
Well, also when you find out we've got 1,500 miles to travel.
Well, let's first do a Learman's tiny hut, so we can replenish our hit points. And in the meantime, we'll
send out the barbarian to gather a mount.
Well, I was going to say, but we've got one mount. Like, if
he's going to do it.
If we just put him on the front of it, and then the rest of us are on the elephant.
Well, the elephant had started wandering off before you came over and followed this guy. So
okay, well,
it will take some effort to catch it.
So you will have to do.
It's probably your best option right now.
Craft to get off your Leomard's tiny hut, because it's an evocation.
Okay.
So.
But remember, we're actually in a reasonable. We had a bit of shelter already, didn't we?
You did, yes. He just likes his shelter. 17 means
25.
25, then it does go off.
Yeah.
Because you can do it as a ritual.
Yeah.
And it just takes 10 minutes to cast.
Alright, so you can go and hide in the tiny hut.
Okay.
Which we can make opaque or whatever, so you can get some rest with you.
It's the only time they get nighttime is when they go into the hut.
And I'll go and hunt down this elephant.
Okay.
Well, with Plyman, presumably.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I can fly.
Yeah. Is it just an elephant?
It is.
Well, mammoth.
It is an actual mammoth.
Right. Yeah, Plumman's in. He's been.
So it's bigger and
me
hairier
as
than an
soon
elephant.
as- Yeah, it's almost like a horse. As soon as the suggestion is put forward, he runs after
Where
the
the
mammoth.
glass was.
Okay, so as you're getting ready to cast this spell, you play him and go off.
Okay, I'll just let him do his thing. And
Bink, and you just
like if
slowly
he
float
comes
away.
back and he has failed in,
You don't want to go off and witness.
well, I mean, yeah, I will go along at a safe
It's just going to make one hell of a montage.
All right, I'll go and watch. And
Right.
if he
How much
fails with his
head
animal
start did you
handling
give it?
roll, then I'll fly over and do something to it.
Okay, so our Griffin Rider gets his first night's sleep in I don't know how long. Because you don't know how long you've been down here for. This is the first time you've been in nighttime conditions.
Well, no, they had buildings in the capital of Millennia, so
Yes, but
it could have been in darkness.
they don't always close the windows over there because they like the light. They're afraid of the dark.
True.
Nearly every culture here is afraid of darkness.
Fools.
But they have good reason to be afraid of the dark.
Okay.
Well, and particularly the Millenniums recently.
And you guys know why you're afraid of the dark too.
Why?
You've angered the god Thanatos, and every time you're in darkness, he attacks you if you don't have a light source.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it says here
You can make it dim and
until
not
the
dark.
spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
dim
Alright.
is not darkness. But
Alright,
every
no
time
worries.
you've been in darkness, you've been
It
attacked.
does give an option of dark, but you've got an option of dimly lit or dark.
But you didn't know about the fact that they get attacked.
I didn't anger Thanatos.
But you're with the people who did.
Okay. Go in this hut. It's
Guilt by
nice and dark.
association.
Next moment.
So currently there's
Of
only
course.
two active gods, and the most powerful of those two, they've angered.
Well, and Willie, be aware that the main aspect that caused the anger was attempting a summoning.
Yeah, I don't do that.
So you technically pulled one off. You summoned a mammoth. With the Wand of Wonder.
Well, with the Wand of Wonder, yes. What, and that makes it more angry, or it's just like it's a special rule? I don't know.
But it's already here, so
Yeah.
it didn't actually get brought in. from
Ah,
somewhere
I've gotcha.
else.
Yes,
Which
yeah,
is why it
just-
was a mammoth and
It
not
was
an
just
elephant.
translocated.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha.
And that's an even messier thing to do here.
Okay.
But it doesn't come here and then die.
All right. I will go and watch Plarman
Okay, so
do his thing.
for the next hour or so, you see Plarman doing the hunt the mammoth thing, tracking, even though from above it's obvious where the mammoth went because you can see the footprints from the
Okay.
sky. But he is, doing the whole hunting, chasing, following. Give me a survival roll for him while we're doing the montage as he's going through region and stuff.
5.
And
Sorry.
heading out into the grasslands, and you sort of whistle and point, and then he goes back in the direction you can see the tracks and the mammoth in the distance.
So he only got a 5 on his roll, but it sounds like it's pretty easy to follow.
Well, no,
From
no,
here, yes.
Willie,
Martin's
you can
included
see
that.
where he's going, and you've directed him.
So you provided the assist of extra bonuses to say no that way. And he's like he didn't even hear, but he's following your direction and,
Right.
and going on as if he'd always going that way anyway. He was just checking.
Yep. Okay.
Exactly.
Just making
And-
sure that the mammoth hadn't doubled back on him.
And so, and as he's running along, you see beside him in the grasslands a whole lot of little movement, but no one's actually attacking him.
Right. What? So what's the little movement?
Imagine
As in the
you're
portal
watching
leads.
Jurassic Park from above
Right.
as they're going through the grasses, and
Okay.
just these lines in the grasses.
Okay.
There's all these lots of lines in the grasses following him.
Right.
But of course, he's perfectly safe. It's plain.
It's a funny image.
But he's a level 8 barbarian,
Yeah.
so he's good.
And he's more than knee height above the grasses, and you can't see anything moving the grasses.
Okay, carry on.
So, and eventually he reaches this mammoth,
And
and
then what does he do?
and then I believe he does his handle animal Crocodile Dundee attempt with the mammoth. Would you like to give a roll for him now?
Well, he could try to talk with animals.
Would you like to talk with
No.
animals instead?
He got a perfect 20.
Jesus Christ, no.
He got a 20.
Okay,
And
so
whatever bonus he gets.
So the mammoth seems to greet you rather warmly and happily and gives you a big hug with its trunk. So much so you actually feel some of your joints crack and pop, and you have some unhelped pain just go away as he gives you the best chiropractic hug you've had in a long time.
And then you realise that actually this mammoth has no ears. And when you do a talk with animals, he says, "Hello, my name's Mr. Snuffleupagus."
So roll an attack roll.
And then it seems to be quite happy to go where you direct it as you're sitting on its back, quite happily above the ground and master of all you see.
So, a woolly mammoth with 4 barbarian levels, hey?
It might take more than your first meeting to provide that.
Not by the rules.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Apparently, you still have to befriend it and then spend a night's rest with it.
Oh, no, we're training the shit out of this thing.
Okay.
It might not be a horse, but
Yeah.
So
this is now a war mammoth.
Just to be clear, we're going back to Liam's tiny hut.
Apparently,
which is 10 foot across.
Yeah.
So it can't get in there, but whatever.
Look, first of all, gonna give it a try. Second of all, don't care. I've got a woolly mammoth.
All right, carry on.
And being a huge creature, it means it can easily fit the entire party on its back.
All right.
Excellent.
And I think potentially even having the huge means.
Yeah. No Griffin riders allowed though.
I was going to say, but then
It is 6 by
big.
It's 3 by 3 squares, so technically for its back.
Yeah. So just
I think a huge
Stephen, just to make you aware, Barman actually, before you came along, genuinely
sizes
hates
aren't
Griffin
incremental.
riders.
Large is 2 by 2 squares.
Yeah, but then it gets bigger.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
so
is it
it's
Griffin
3
riders
by
big?
3, so 9 squares. Yes. It doesn't double in size.
Oh,
For each category.
sorry,
It
he's
adds
a-
1.
What are they called? A horse?
Doesn't it? I thought it adds
Well,
more than
horse
one. I
head,
thought it was
okay,
non-linear.
it's perfectly appropriate for Plumber to hate Griffin riders.
Yeah, no, Plyman has genuinely hated Griffin riders for quite some time.
Absolutely.
Why is this?
Because they hunt horses.
And because they're just self-righteous dicks.
Well, they look down on everyone.
You judge quickly.
To be fair, as an Ethagarian, he hates most people that aren't Ethagarian.
Yeah, actually,
Griffin
that's
riders
100%
are just
true.
get more because they ride things that eat horses.
But Jeremy, he's also a Uyghur Ethangarian, so he hates most Ethangarians.
So I was correct. Huge is 3 squares by 3 squares.
Okay.
So 15 foot by 15 foot. Whereas Gargantuan is 20 foot by 20 foot.
So,
So 9 spaces for people to stand on.
right, nice.
How tall would you say the mammoth is?
So he would be at least 15 feet tall.
You mean 14 feet tall?
What?
Sure.
Fantastic, I can still attack from it.
Okay.
That's right. We'll rig up some rope harnesses that hang from underneath as well, so you can be underneath the chute too.
No, I got a reach weapon, don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Ah, I gotcha.
He has 2 reach weapons.
Right, so you'll be on the front of the elephant.
Oh no, I'll be riding it much like anyone else would, from the neck, as in...
From the neck, right. Okay, and then we'll have a... So you'll have your griffin, I don't know, ready to deploy
David.
from the back of the rhinoceros.
Technically, if
You're
elephant.
assuming that I'm allowing a griffin on this mammoth.
No, okay. I would expect that the Griffin and Sir Colvis will ride happily separately.
Right.
Like I say, there's no reason for the Griffin to be on the mammoth.
Okay.
Avoiding being a dick, that would just make sense for them to do the
Yeah, it's
scouting
got
thing.
claws as feet, so it wouldn't be very comfortable for the mammoth.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Well, but even so, it's
We'll
the
look
sort of
after
thing
the
that
mammoth.
mounts don't normally ride mounts very well.
Yes, owning a mount just comes across as something kinky.
Right.
It's funny you say that, Jeremy. If I spec the mammoth as barbarian aspect of the barbarian totem warrior of the horse, it could then
Mount
technically have a mount that it then gave barbarian levels to.
I keep
I
stacking
did say
it.
normally.
Kind of.
But it's only half of
Yeah,
your
clearly
level.
Clearly, you're not taking into account barbarian magic.
Right, so you're bonding with the mammoth to
You're
make it a
mounting
fourth
the
level,
mammoth.
Yes.
but wouldn't it have more
It's
hit
his special
points?
friend.
It
Yeah.
would have more hit points as a mammoth than a fourth level barbarian.
And
Yeah,
this
but
is
you're
in
also-
addition.
Yeah,
It's a
in
mammoth
addition-
plus a 4th level barbarian.
Ah, gotcha.
So it gets added as extra levels,
Fantastic.
making it just that much more
Right.
vicious.
It's gonna be a vicious mammoth.
So just so you know, a mammoth has 126 hit points to start with.
Right.
It's 11 hit dice creature.
It's
Okay.
tough.
Oh,
And
shit.
then so now it's become a 15 hit dice creature. Right.
Well, no, there's a couple that the rules there's a way to go about it.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And
But-
does it assume a non-standard mount, like other than a horse, or
I'll be honest. I dare say we're entering into uncharted territory.
So the concept of the totem warrior of the horse is it sees the horse as the mount. It
Yeah.
doesn't care what the mount is.
okay?
And of course,
What?
you call them relevant, like you were
Yes,
talking
yeah.
about with the
It's
with
just,
the.
it's just the
I'm
totem
sorry.
of the horse.
Wait, Jeremy. Did you
Oh, I
say
see.
irrelevant?
Absolutely,
It is
We
irrelevant.
call it irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
And
Because,
don't worry,
like,
he
you
won't
were talking
forget
about
it.
you were talking about like 14 feet or 15 feet tall or things like that.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to do combat from a mount.
Shut up, Jeremy.
No rubbing it in there
Hey,
whatsoever.
What's Dimitri's AC again?
It doesn't have to be that good. You just have to, push.
Fair enough.
I'm sure he'll find himself having to ride a griffin anytime
And then
soon.
get stomped on.
Only if he goes off the front.
Munch, munch, munch.
Okay, so now you have a way of crossing directly to Nithia. Because apparently the locals ignore mammoths.
Yeah.
Because, well, if you're about a foot tall, would you really want something 14 foot tall?
And can it graze? Like on the...
Yeah, it eats grass.
All right.
Like, suddenly turning into a level 4 barbarian doesn't make you a cannibal, or even a carnivore.
That's what I'm saying. The griffin, the hippogriff was never in danger. The griffin was never in danger, except possibly of trampling.
Though, if your mammoth moves 20 feet and succeeds on a gore attack, it then knocks the person prone and tramples them.
Right.
Oh, that's so cool.
So the griffin doesn't like eating elephants.
It probably would if it could actually get away with killing it.
Right. Okay.
Simon's rethinking his stance on horses.
I suspect that, no, definitely, for griffins, it's definitely horse flesh is what they like. It's not just mammal flesh of various sizes.
Horse flesh
so.
is their favourite food.
All
I
right.
mean, obviously they would eat elephant in the sense that it's
All right.
meat.
So it turns out the wand of wonder, the summoning of an elephant, is the best thing I could have ever done.
That's the whole point with things that don't work out the way you expect.
As a non-magic user, I love the effects of magic in the Hollow World.
As a magic user, God, it's annoying. Which, of course, is half the reason that Plum loves them.
Exactly. One, it pisses off magic users. Fantastic. Two, I got a mammoth for a mount.
More importantly, it pisses off Dimitri.
So hopefully so when we get back to the real world, maybe I'll get to 9th level and then I can teleport your mount. I'll have to check the size of it. What size?
I think if you try
Can
to
you
teleport
teleport
the
his mount
mammoth
back
out
to
of
the
the
real
Hollow
world?
World, you need a pretty powerful teleport.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. He's not. Once he gets back, he couldn't
It's
be
not a
seen.
keeper.
He couldn't be seen riding a mammoth in Ethengar. He'd be outcast.
Or on it above all because it looks like a giant
That's
yak to them with tusks.
Eh,
And yaks are some of their spirit animals.
yak.
Their favoured spirits are the 3 yak men.
Yeah, it's still not a yak. Damn it! They moved a wall. Now there's light shining in my truck. Rude.
And they just did it then?
Right.
No, between
Last time you were here.
between yesterday and today.
Okay. So. Dharma says, Dale says, now that you have a mount, where would you like to head? He does know the Tanagoru to the north and can point you to one of the settlements they have right on the cove who might be able to help you.
But they're still 400 odd miles away.
Yeah, won't take that long to travel on a mammoth, he says. Okay. They do travel fairly quick. Especially
Well, but the main purpose I was thinking of visiting the Tanagoro for was to actually try and obtain mounts
Right.
to make the travel across either across the plains or along the mountainside heading towards Nithia a bit quicker.
Right.
I'm
I
not certain
think
it'll be
we're good on
faster.
that score.
That's right. I'm not sure it'll be faster to travel 400 miles north to get a mount that we no longer need and then have to go down again.
He says,
I can understand why you prefer the
That's some
Tanagoro.
Flamen logic right there.
he says that's up to you at all, but depends on why you're here.
Well, as I said, unfortunately, despite the how awful and unfriendly the Nithians are, we must head in that direction. We've got to go and, well, to be honest, we've got to go and bash a few Nithian heads.
You know, it'd probably be safer doing it out of Nithia than in Nithia. He says it's a lot harder to get them in their own lands.
Yes, but unfortunately the ones we've got to hit, they haven't left home.
They might actually have captives there. The Tanagoru are known to take captives. They might give you some information about what's going on there before you enter. He can't tell you much about what happens in Nithia, but a Nithian could.
Now, Dimitri hasn't any particular reason to know anything about the Tanagoro, has he?
He does not. You have not actually heard of the Tanagoru before.
Okay. So I was thinking, hey, one thing for sure, the Tanagoro would be pretty impressed at mammoth riding. It's what they like to do.
Well, he says the Tanagoru are known to use mammoths in combat.
Yes.
And they do have armor for their mammoths that they.
So potentially it could be worth travelling there, if only to pick up a few pointers as to how you might best use your new friend. Does your friend have a name, Plumman?
Flamen realizes that he's currently receiving advice from Dimitri and walks away.
Wasn't advice, it was a question.
No, the bit before the question.
Oh no, that was his potential. Like he wasn't saying it was worth. He was thinking that would be the only real reason possibly to go to Tanagoro, from his understanding, because the idea of yes, they might have a slave Nithian that might go Claymore, but he's figuring that hey, we're more likely to find someone we can talk to on the way than we are going 400 miles in the opposite direction.
Move directly towards our goal.
Yes, as I said, I think that we may come back via the Tanagoro.
He says, "Good luck with that." Very few people who
Let's go trample something.
who enter Nithya ever return.
Well, we've had that from most places we've been to.
It's one of the few places where the reptilian native animals of this world are not native.
So this is the Egypt analogue. So we're talking like instant death spells that kill you kind of thing. Are there any defences against that?
Yeah, he says don't go there.
Okay.
It's the best defense.
All right.
Only crazy people go there.
But there's like a magic item that would stop that, isn't there? I don't know.
There's always magic something that will stop something, he says.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sure.
But if you're intending on going there, be careful who you befriend, because they enslave all who are different and make them work for them. There is no trade with Nithya. Nithya trades with you. You don't trade with
Maybe the
them.
first person we meet will want a lovely ring.
Yes. Yeah. And then we can find out everything we need to know. Let's go capture ourselves a Nithian. What do you guys say? And give them a present.
He says good luck as you're leaving.
And thank you for your hospitality, and thank you for the information.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll see you on our return.
He says hopefully, but he doesn't expect it. Okay. Just skipping ahead to one of the later sections.
Yeah.
No particular reason.
Okay. When the players have skipped over all these plot points that particularly help them, come to this point and party's dead.
We're still travelling along the land. I guess you can fly.
Yeah.
But you have been warned that flying creatures generally attract attention.
Well, I've been flying very low to the ground, I reckon. Staying near the party. Don't want another swarm of vipers.
As we before we do actually head off too far, particularly away from the foothills here, can we find any of that serpent mint around?
It says only
it might be worth having some to try and attract some more if we get attacked by vipers again.
It says you can only do that if you go up the mountains.
Right.
And he does not wish to sell what he has because he needs it.
No, that's understandable. Is it likely to take long to find up in the mountains?
It says yes, it's about probably about 2 weeks going up, following the paths to avoid the flying predators.
Okay. However,
basically, if you're out in the open and moving, they generally zero in on other flying creatures.
Yeah.
Or people precariously standing on mountain ledges and stuff like that. So, you start heading across the grasslands.
So are we feeling that originally we were going to be following the foothills all the way around to help avoid getting lost? I'm assuming that yes, we'll be cutting across the grasslands, but still probably aiming to keep the foothills in sight, in the sense of cutting some of the time, but not necessarily aiming to get lost.
Okay. Well, the foothills are large mountains, so you can keep them in sight for many, many miles.
Sounds good.
That's right. I figured it wasn't going to be hard, but it was more the idea, just we're still using those as a reference point.
And because the world curves up, it's quite easy to keep them in sight, even if you're quite a distance away from it. Because you can keep it in sight almost from the other side of the world itself, as long as you're not got the sun in between you and it.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping it in sight is relative on a world that curves upwards.
Yes.
So you always have landmarks of the other continents to use. Okay, so you start heading towards the Lithians. Many hours into the journey, because, well, it's hard to tell exactly what time it is without some timekeeping. Dimitri's did learn how to do so after talking to
And he's also got his mage armor spell to give him an indication of 16-hour mark.
Yep. You find yourself on the edge of a valley in the grasslands. And in front of you, as far as you can see, are all what appears to be a tiny village. Well, it's the size of a village to you, but it looks like it probably holds tens of thousands of little people.
Would there be a point to going to that village, or?
Well, basically, you only see it now that you're on a mammoth, looking into a valley on foot. You wouldn't even see it unless you fell in the actual ravine itself.
All right. Is there a reason to go?
From what we've heard, the natives are not going to be particularly friendly.
Yeah. So let's avoid it.
And I can't imagine they've necessarily got much equipment that might be worth trading for. So I'm thinking that we can be aiming to go around.
Yeah.
You do see that they seem to be... any of them you see seem to be hiding from you.
I was going to say, no, we have. Well, first, have we actually managed to spot any of the little folk as we travel?
You sort of see you sort of see movement in the grass, but you don't see them. And the first time you actually see any of them is when you're looking down in the valley, and it sort of looks as if they're all miniature people.
Mm-hmm.
And so people that reach a height of 1 foot in height.
Okay. Well,
but they all hiding from such big clumsy folk like yourselves.
Yeah. If we do spot directly anyone or things like that, Dimitri will call out to say that we're passing through, no harm, won't stop unless you want us to.
And they seem to be not responding or not, or you can't hear their responses. So. Okay. Okay, so after another 4 days of travel, roughly 4 days, you have been. The elephant does have a good constitution, and travels very fast.
We don't get significant problems from them when trying to pause for a sleep cycle or anything like that.
Not particularly, considering the elephant doesn't lie down to sleep, and most of them won't try to climb the elephant with people on top. It is rather easy to avoid people when you're up on a huge creature.
Yes.
Okay, just looking up movement stuff. Because it's been a while since I've actually had to do overland movement properly.
I'm assuming it'll take a while.
It will take a while. So, let's see. So technically, in 8 hours, you can do about. So is that David going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll speak to you later, David. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Good night, all.
So you're able to do about 40 miles a day. So that means it is probably to cut straight across. Is about 20 days all up.
Yep. I'm guessing it's not necessarily a comfortable 20 days, but we survive it.
And coming across to the other side of it, you see the shimmering desert wall. It's just like a wall of heat all along the side of it. And the grassland just stops at the desert.
Mm.
So you see that in front of you. What do you want to do? There's no sign of civilization anywhere as far as you can see. And as the land curves upwards, you see probably another, probably about another 800 miles from the point you've reached the desert to the fertile lands where you can see civilization in Nithia. It helps that it just curves up.
So we have to cross a desert.
You have to cross one of the most harshest deserts in the region.
Well, but or we could go round. In the because the idea was originally we were going to be following along the mountain line southwards, like south of the plains, which then go down below the desert. Do we actually want to get into the middle of the desert?
I think the desert could be a
Or do we
pretty
want to
bad
get to the
idea.
other side of the desert?
I think the woolly mammoth is going to be our. I mean, it's good for its transport, but I'm worried it's going to overheat.
Oh, yeah, the
It
mammoth
also
is not
won't
going to
be
work in the
native.
desert.
Mm.
So, but but what I'm asking is that do we actually, the place we want to get to, is it actually in the middle of the desert or is it on the other side of the desert?
Okay, you think that the center of the civilization seems to be up in this region. You can see on that. I'll change the map over to you. You can see better. So
Yeah.
so it's about where that finger is there.
Yeah.
Whereas
so,
you've come to about here.
yeah, so if we head southwards or southwesterly,
Through that gap.
going around the desert, just as we would have if we had gone around the mountains, but obviously we've saved some time.
So that would take you another 20 days to get around to there.
Yeah. And then going back up again type stuff.
Okay.
Obviously, the point being that, yeah, by going across, we have saved some time, but yes, it was never something that we were going to take a direct path.
Yeah.
Okay, so I might actually finish you on the borders of Nithia.
Okay.
Not a problem.
So we travel another 20 days and we're sort of like near Nithia now?
Yeah, you've been going for 40 days.
Cool.
Since you are...
40 days and 0 nights.
Yeah. So do you mean like 40 24-hour cycles?
Roughly.
Oh, okay. Right.
Because you can only have a long rest once per 24 hours.
Yep.
But we're on max hit points. Or well, I mean, except for me and a couple of others who've burnt hit points
you've
in
got
order to
soul burn,
cast
you've got
spells.
problems, but yes,
Yeah.
you're at the maximum you can be.
Yeah.
So yes, you have managed to make it to the part of southern Nithia, which is handy because I have
That's for the dice.
Oh, no worries.
so another book for Nithia.
Ah! Kingdom of Nithia.
Cool. Are they like Egyptian styled?
They are. They are the. So the way this world is set up is every country has a relation to our historical nations,
Oh, that's interesting.
and they use some of that history and culture in describing it, just in a slightly twisted way.
Ah.
So imagine magic actually worked, and the repercussions of magic working, and fantasy races and such. So yes, and so we'll end up finishing it there for the night as you are heading into Nithia, a place that, as far as you're concerned, we're told doesn't exist.
As if.
Well, yes, it's the sort of place that, in Dimitri's case, he hasn't been able to research anything on it, and it's been not talked about. But, yes, it's the place where, apparently, it was one of the 3 sites that got marked out when we first arrived.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Martin.
Okay, then. Thanks very much, all.
have a good night, and I will see you later, Jeremy.
See you
Have a
later.
Good evening. Yep, likewise.
See you later,
So
everyone.
I'll see you on Wednesday, and otherwise, week after.
See you later.
Alright.
Good
See
night,
ya.
all.
Bye.
See ya.
Nice to meet you, Stephen.